Welcome back to Kind of Funny's Harry Potter in Review. That's right, we are ranking and reviewing every movie in the Harry Potter cinematic universe. I'm Tim Gettys, joined by Andy Cortez.
Hey, Tim. Hey, at Tim Gettys. I'm at Maximum Cortez.
Kevin Coelho.
I'm tired.
And Nick Scarpino.
Avada Kedavra, everybody.
No, it's the killing
I
Fields.
hate these jackets.
Is it so noisy?
No, these
noisy jacket?
medium-sized jackets. They bunch up top here, and I have to like pull them down.
You got a thick neck, bro.
You do have a thick neck.
Thick neck.
Thick.
You got that thick neck.
Oh, you're fine.
No, you
that was closer. That was closer.
It's just you're chewing your lips.
Expelliarmus. It's pretty close.
Stapata. Mine's better.
Okay.
And that's not saying much.
We do this show usually every Tuesday on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames at 11 a.m. But you can watch it later on youtube.com/kindoffunny or roosterteeth.com as a video. But you can also get it as a podcast. Just search your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny Reviews. Every movie ranked and reviewed. We also renamed it that. So anything it's for SEO, you can find it however you would like to. But
it changes the whole fabric of the show, though, Tim.
it does.
Yeah.
It does, man.
Like
it really
this
does.
show is just totally different now.
It's you
you
should
either love it or
support
hate
it either way you can. But please give us the thumbs up, give us the 5 stars, give us the 10 out of 10s, give us all the good things. Today, I want to shout out Patreon producer David Mintel.
Show me a trick. Show me a trick.
Because you can also go to patreon.com/kindoffunny to get this show ad-free or write in later for the haiku in review.
What?
What, Nick?
No, that's what it is.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So
in review.
today we're talking about Harry Potter.
Never said that in the song.
I said it in my head.
I've always heard it in his head.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The fourth book of Harry Potter. Released on November 18th, 2005. Directed by Mike Newell, who didn't have much that I was like, that's interesting, except for Prince of Persia.
Yeah, there you go.
Ah,
They were
was
like,
that
you
good?
knocked it out of the park. No.
I think that came later. The
Prince of Persia was afterward?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Man, that was a
Wasn't
weird
Prince of
movie.
Persia like 2010?
I
Leave it
could have
alone.
sworn
Take
it
it
was
off.
before that.
No, Prince of Persia was like 07.
Prince
I'll
of
look.
Persia.
2010. The sands of time.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Was it
There
any
is.
good?
No.
Prince of Persia, the movie,
Yeah.
was not pretty good.
No.
It was Jake Gyllenhaal as the Prince of Persia.
I'm Jake Gyllenhaal.
and Gemma Arterton.
Stop. You got to stop doing that. You got to
Mr.
stop tugging on
Bata.
it.
Mr.
Just either take it
Bata.
off
I'm
or
gonna sit on
accept
it.
it.
Here's, I'm gonna sit on the box.
There's no way. You're
This had a budget of 150 million, and in terms of box office,
That's like nothing.
all of these have been around there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back then, you see,
I guess
Well,
I
the
compared
costumes
to
are all
10
really
years
small.
ago.
Huh?
So, you have to assume the costume budget half as much as adult movies.
They just paid magicians to like
okay.
do
'Cause they're all
special
tiny.
effects or
So
whatever.
many magicians.
tiny people.
Box office. Goblet of Fire enjoyed an immensely successful run at the box office, earning $897 million worldwide, which made it the highest grossing film of 2005 and the 8th highest grossing film of all time at that time. Things have changed.
Got it.
Dramatically.
Thanks, Fast and Furious.
And the 6th highest grossing film in the Harry Potter series.
Really?
That's not that impressive.
That's not that impressive
at
either.
all. Yeah.
Wait, it's the 6th highest grossing film in the Harry Potter series?
Wow, they
Yeah.
kept making a lot of money, huh?
Guess so.
Yeah. And a runtime of 2 hours and 37 minutes. Before we get into all the plot, and as always, we are avoiding future spoilers. What did we think about this movie? I would like to start.
Go for it.
This is the first good movie.
That's
This
not. That's
is
not true.
absolutely the Rogue Nation. No, sorry, not Rogue Nation.
Rogue
Ghost
Nation.
Protocol of this
Interesting.
franchise.
It's a good
Where all of a
movie,
sudden I'm
right?
like, we're getting to a good place, baby. You didn't like it?
What? Azkaban is better than this, man.
Oh,
Like,
No.
you're so dumb.
It's like not
so
even
dumb.
a chance.
like
I was. Yes, go ahead.
I thought this movie was serviceable. I think at the end of the day, this will be
Serviceable?
in like the bottom 2 or 3.
What?
I don't know.
I like how you looked at me for confirmation on that. And I
Wait,
gave you nothing back.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I think Azkaban was like just a lot more entertaining than this. I felt like this movie just took too long in certain spaces where I just wanted to get to the end and find out the thing that happens. Like I don't know, pacing felt off to me. It just, I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it as much as Azkaban. I can't really quite put my finger on it.
We had no Dursley bullshit. We start this movie off.
just love it
with
'cause
some
there's no
real-
Dursley
I mean, that
bullshit.
definitely
Thank
helps.
fucking God.
Let's already have a cool storyline going. Loved the intrigue of the villains. bad guys that we've seen before coming back. What are they up to? Totally down for that. The Triwizard Tournament, nothing cooler than tournaments, period. It's gym leaders in Pokemon. It's everything you want. It's season 3 of Ruby. It's like, it's the hype. It's what you fucking need. And then, boom, the last 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, this is why people like Harry Potter. Oh, there's actually some shit. There's some stakes.
That's one thing I will say. The last 20 minutes of this movie are where I finally found myself really enjoying it. I don't want to say that like I enjoy kids getting killed, but I enjoy
Certain
those
kids.
stakes, and I love how dark it gets, and I love how shit really gets real. Where, you know, up to this point we're joking about like how this shit seems so dangerous and how dare they like
Now
allow
there's
these
a
kids
dead
just
kid.
and now there's like an actual dead kid, and it matters, and you feel that emotion, you feel how sad it gets and how just fucked up all this seems. And it wasn't until the last like I'd say more than 20 minutes. I'd say maybe the last 30 or so that I definitely enjoyed. But the rest of it, I just kind of wasn't too into.
I think that this movie addressed so many of my concerns from the other movies directly and head on, where it would be these lighthearted stuff, but then they would address it with some dark shit, but then they would have that stuff next to each other, and it actually felt appropriate. Like the end scene where it's like still that stupid ass like music playing, the do
It's terrifying.
but
And
the
he's, like,
motherfucker's dead.
fucked up.
Yeah,
You know, it's
really
like
fucked
that.
up.
It's like, oh my god, finally this is starting to feel like it's a real world where dark shit could happen. But on top of that, just playing on our expectations, like Azkaban, it's like, oh, is the dark arts teacher going to be bad? Oh no, the twist is he's good. It's like that's where the extent of that line. Whereas this one, it was like, oh, okay, I guess the dark arts teacher's bad again. Oh no, he's not. He's fucking down in the little chest
Fucked
thing.
out,
It's
right?
like they immediately kept making me happy with surprises and twists that I didn't see coming, including the Harry, like, how do you get his name in there? And it's like, oh, no shit, Harry's name's going to get called because he's Harry Potter. And, like, they do not care about him at all getting in trouble or getting in these waiting for death sequences. And then the next scene is Dumbledore and all of them being like, yo, what
Fucking
the fuck happened? How'd your
pissed.
name get in there?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, hell yeah.
Like they grill him on it too. And this movie has a definite intensity. I will say this, like I went in expecting to not like this as much as Azkaban, and I think they did a really, really good job of structurally having this movie be tight. There's one little point at the very end of the movie where Dumbledore has to explain away just a couple of the things, but it's not even that. It's more just kind of clarifying what happened with the wands and all that stuff. Versus the movie like Azkaban, they literally have to sit there and be like, okay, all the shit we couldn't fit into the movie, here's what I'm going to tell you about. So I love the job they did in this. I like how everything was set up and very, very well supported, and feels at the very, very end when Moody, or fake Moody rather, is like grabbing his arm and like twisting the blood out of it and asking if he saw the Dark Lord. Like when I first read that, and then or rather if you first see it in the movie theater, you're like, what is going on here? Who is this person? What? I mean, you're probably smart enough to pick up on the little tongue thing that he does, but I certainly wasn't. I was like, well, I didn't, I don't know if they ever even clarified that in the book. So I like that this is really the first one structurally that feels, you get to the third act and you're like, there's payoff in this, which is great. I was pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed this one, but I think they're all great movies. So I'm jaded.
I love this one. This is the one that like the kids are all, they seem like now they're a bit older, and like the stakes are real as shit. Like where it's like at the end of this one, someone dies, and like the whole thing is like, you're right, like tournaments and stuff like that makes it so much cooler because you get to see them doing crazy magic and stuff. But yeah, I love this movie so much.
This is also the first one where you really start to see the bigger, wider spreading magical community as well. Like we get the Quidditch World Cup, which is cool. So you see that every type of culture has a team potentially that they can come rep. You get
Tight.
This is the really, really cool part that I love when I was reading the books. I was like, wait, there's other schools. Like I'm sure they had made mention to them, but it didn't really occur to me that there were other institutes and other schools that were there to teach witches and wizards how to be witches and wizards. So it's really cool to see like Durmstrang come in and the Beauxbatons come in and all that stuff. You're like, whoa, I want to go. And then it starts making you wonder. You start to wonder. You're like, is there an American school? What would it be called?
Where would they be? And they dropped Oars for the first time.
They did.
I was like, oh
get
shit,
really-
here we go.
Yeah, Aurors are really focused on this. Moody, of course, being one of the most historic Aurors of all time, who lost his leg and his eye in fights, and that shit took something out of him. Which is they even make mention of that too in when they're going through the pensive memory, where they talk about the second name that he mentions. He's like, I know that motherfucker. He took a piece of me.
Yeah.
But like, I took the rest of him. It was pretty cool.
The only real like criticisms I have of the movie, I thought the action scenes weren't thrilling. Like they weren't that exciting. Like the Harry with the dragon and stuff. It was just kind of like pretty pedestrian choreography. And the Ron turning on Harry was like, it was clear. It's like, oh, I'm in the book. This must have been more.
Dude,
explained.
in the book, it was like 6 months of him being a dick.
Because it was just kind of like
God,
out of
he
nowhere.
sucks.
It's like, yo, dude, you've seen Harry kind of like get fucked over a lot, and like random things happen to him. Like, why would you so quickly assume he's doing this for fame?
It was an annoying part in the book too. Yeah. It was. You were like, why is she writing this?
They flesh it out a little more because like they don't like back in Sorcerer's Stone when he looks in the mirror, he sees like all of these things that he's done. He is the youngest son in that family, and all of his older brothers have like great success. Like the twins are funny and they're goofy and whatnot. Like Bill is. He's just had a lot of successful brothers, so just like it's like this weird complex of his where he hates constantly being overshadowed, and he's like in this one he's like definitely tired of it. And then it's again like it is in the movie. Once he sees like what Harry's up against in the first task, he's like, "Yeah, I was an idiot. I'm sorry. Like someone's trying to."
It's like in the movies when the nerdy kid like starts to become friends with like the quarterback. And then and the nerdy kid's like, well, you're not gonna invite me? Like, I see how it is, bro. That's fucked up, you know. Yeah.
And then the last thing was just the weird baby Voldemort thing.
Baby V.
I feel like they could have
one of my favorite memes.
built that up a little bit more in the other movies or like something because it was just there. I didn't expect it.
There's one like scene in the movie where I'm like, why does this look so dumb? It's when they toss him into the cauldron and it's a punch-in of the cauldron that makes the cauldron seem huge and then just like a really normal size like. It just that scene always looks wrong to me. Whenever they toss him in, I'm like, "What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like
did he suddenly become full size?"
Yeah, it's like it reminds me in TV shows where they are purposely like they knock somebody off a building and they cut to like an obvious just like dummy falling down. Like that's what it kind of looked like. Like this sort of like lifeless thing that has no, even though he is kind of that way, but just
dude,
looks fake.
How fucking cool is it when he's reborn?
It's the coolest thing.
Yeah,
fucking possible. I can't imagine.
Definitely much cooler than rubber-faced fucking dummy Ron in underwater.
Oh,
that looked
that was real bad. Real
I
bad.
hated the way that looked.
I just want to give a shout out to Ray Fiennes, who I think
Fucking
when they announced
kills it.
that he was going to be cast as Voldemort in this movie, I was like, yep, that's fucking awesome. He's a great actor.
He's
so
so
good.
scary when he's like, pick up your wand. Well, like, let's do a duel like they do in school. And it's like, oh shit, this guy's crazy.
The part that freaks me out was when he gets close to Harry. He's like, I can touch you now, and Harry starts screaming because the pain of him being close, and he kind of screams with him like, it's fucked up.
Voldemort,
it reminds me of when he was in that sequel to Silence of the Lambs when he played like the fucked up dragon killer, the Red Dragon.
There's one thing I don't like about the performance,
weird in
and
that.
it's like it's purposely done this way, so it's like an obvious choice. Like a lot of his mannerisms, I don't like. He
kind of runs around like a child.
we start to see a lot of like that goofy, like the goofiness that isn't really intended. Isn't really intentional later on, but like the way he kind of like moves around, like he doesn't.
I love his
it's just
movements.
it's really bizarre.
It's such an exaggerated like you get the feeling that he thinks he's a fucking god, and now he's come back,
ego, yeah.
and for the last like what 13 years.
Dumbledore still calls him Lord. Like you would think that Dumbledore would just call him like fucking.
I mean, LV
Voldemort.
Cool.
No, I mean Dumbledore should call him Riddle, yeah. But anyways,
at the end he's like Lord Voldemort's back. Whatever.
well, I mean that's also people know him from that.
I wish they ended the movie there.
But also like
I know
respect,
I liked everything that we got after.
Imagine
because I
just
actually
black,
thought
cut to
but
black.
that's my thing. Is like if you hear the stupid music playing and then you see Edward Cullen dead, and then it's just Dumbledore being like, Lord Voldemort's back, and then just credits.
Dude, that would have been sick as fuck.
No, dude, we gotta find Moody, bro.
Nah, that would have
Dude,
been
the Moody
sick.
Best
stuff's
movie
so
that way.
no, but I
Yeah.
love the Moody stuff.
It was great.
Moody stuff's great too because it's like, wow. That's
I also didn't like the duel scene that the fucking the Cell / Gohan with Goku over. Oh, you never watched Dragon Ball Z? Fuck.
What you're talking about when Voldemort when the wand
when they're dueling
Dude,
or whatever. Like
no,
I hated a Harry Potter stance. He was just like his. It's really hard to see, but
get in there. You want me to do it with you? Here, I'll do Voldemort. I'll do Voldemort.
his legs are just like Harry, like fucking get in there, but his legs are just like. Like he looks so
He's a
bizarre.
little dumb shit now. I'm hoping he comes back more powerful than ever before. That scene was
I'm gonna say
fucking
this.
awesome.
That scene was so fucking
I'm just
cool.
like, oh my god.
So
I'm in.
imagine that. Imagine Dragon Ball Z and Gohan is fighting Cell and the fate of the world is it's about to all end. And then you just see fucking Goku appear above Gohan's shoulder and he's like, Gohan, now's your chance, Gohan. And he's like doing it. And then like
really
fucking
good one.
Vegeta comes out of nowhere, hits Cell, and Cell like gets distracted. And then Goku just goes, Gohan now! And then fucking Gohan just, oh my god, dude, just tears of crying, man.
Wasn't Vegeta dead at that point?
What's your criticism?
Yeah, no, Vegeta was in the sky. Vegeta was all fucked up. But then he just uses like his last blast to distract Cell. Cell turn around. Huh?
So fucking.
So
The
tight.
scene in the book was great, but it's one of those things. There's a couple scenes in the
Good
movies
yell, by the way.
that really, really, really do justice to the scenes in the book. There's this one, and we won't talk about the next one that's coming up in the next movie. But this scene when the wands meet and it starts spitting out white hot lava onto the ground,
So
I'm like,
fucking cool.
fuck me. Like, you get the feeling like this is the first time you actually get the feeling that Harry is a powerful wizard. Up until this point, you're like, has he just lucked out with everything?
But-
Like he had his friends with him, but this is the first time like he squares off against Lord motherfucking Voldemort and actually hold his own for a second. And
Yeah, here's the thing. Like,
then his parents have to come help him out.
he's not really a powerful wizard. It's just a lot. It's all fate. It's all fate. Like the only they don't explain this till
look,
later.
just spoiler.
Barrett, Ezekiel
Yeah.
Midoriya wasn't born with a quirk, but he fucking gained it, bro. And that's
Yeah.
what Harry's doing, man. That's what Harry's fucking showing
Oh, man,
everybody,
that's
dude.
that scene where he's like, "Come out, Harry. I want
Cork?
to see the whites in your eyes when I kill you. I want to see like the light drain from your eyes." And Harry just goes, "Fuck it, there it is."
Jesus.
We just started. Fuck.
I hate this part.
So shrill.
I hate this part so much.
We just started.
Good to see you. Okay, I'm getting kisses from him. That's great.
Oh my god. Fuck.
It's me, Professor McGonagall, and I come with terrible news.
Oh no! What's the news, McGonagall?
Laughing though.
I'm a witch.
Which is fine.
I'm a
Everything funny. I never noticed how thick your wand is. It's so thick.
Let him get there. Let him get there.
I've come this week to only deduct points. I am taking 15 points from Ravenclaw.
What?
You might ask why.
Because he talked
Nicholas, you have done nothing wrong
If
in
I-
the eyes of
If I can-
Ravenclaw, the house. Yes, son.
if I can guess why you're taking points away from us, can you give us the points back? Is it
Sure.
because Andy stupidly brought in Dragon Ball Z into the conversation?
You were very close.
Don't lift up your shirt, please.
Let me, as the world's greatest magician,
Yep.
Professor McGonagall,
Wizard.
perform a trick. Ravenclaw will be losing 15 points.
Please pull down your shirt.
Oh, it's in there. It's really in there. That's a nice new ham.
Because they are a house of no moral fiber. Andy Cortez, what did you have for lunch?
In and out.
And all he does on Twitter is talk shit about In-N-Out. But here he is eating it. Let me bring you back to July 17th, 2017.
Yeah.
Are In-N-Out fries actual cardboard? January 19th, In-N-Out fries are my least favorite thing on this planet. August 29th, 2018, also their fries are trash.
They are. They are though.
Why would you eat it? If a dog food truck rolled over outside, would you go eat that, you fucking little Slytherin bitch?
I didn't order fries.
No, it's funny you say that. On April 20th, 2018, a man
got you.
tweeted you named Cody and said, quick. Cody! Instead of a boy.
The internet's too powerful. It's too powerful.
Quick! About to go to Whataburger first time, what should I get? You quoted and said, help this man! And then Dex Dad 82 said, get nothing, leave and go to P. Terry's or In-N-Out. You then tweeted, and then eat whatever is in their toilets because it's better than anything at P. Terry's or In-N-Out. You ate In-N-Out today? You need to stand for something or fall for everything!
You fucked us,
I
Andy.
talk shit about the fries all the time.
And then the burgers in the toilet system. I stand on the mountain of St. Hogwarts. Minus 15 points from Ravenclaw.
Yep.
Nick, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you, Professor McGonagall. Professor McGonagall, everybody.
Yes.
There she is. There she goes.
Oh my God.
Just a whole lot of women.
When he was yelling, it was literally ringing.
My left
Ringing.
ear hurts.
I don't think
yeah.
I've ever heard a human being produce that sound.
It's great. What's amazing is he kept it up for a solid 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
That was great.
Wow.
Hand-out fries suck. though.
I don't
Yeah, they're
I don't
not
know
good. They're not
we
good.
were. We were talking about Dragon Ball Z, and that was a cool scene.
I think we were just ready to go into the plot.
Yeah.
Greg's not here, but worry not. Nick will tell us the plot.
Soon we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy. Ladies and gentlemen,
Boom,
Harry
motherfucker.
Potter and the Goblet of Fire starts in a very untraditional way on some dope-ass skulls. That's
Thank
right, Tim.
God.
With a Z.
Speaking of Z's, real quick, I
Yeah.
got some serious facts for you.
You fell
Chamber of
asleep?
Secrets been renamed Serious Facts with the Z. It's like Serious Blacks. Black.
Oh, I see what you're saying there.
There you go. Goblet of Fire was the first film in the series to receive a PG-13 rating by the MPAA for sequences of fantasy violence and frightening images, like skulls. So that's why. And that was from the beginning here.
Nagini.
So remember, I get a lot of these facts from Fascinate.com, and I enjoy whoever writes them. This is the first movie to not feature the Dursleys. Thank fucking God. This is because the family that played the Dursleys demanded more money, forgetting that they're the Dursleys and not the cast of Friends.
That's editorializing there a little bit.
Wait. Is it one? Are they an actual family?
No, they're just the actors.
No, I mean, but the idea of them collectively being like, you know
Yeah.
what?
Like if we collectively bargain, we'll
Yeah,
have
My son
money.
wants more
Yeah.
money. Like, I'm not your son. We just play that in the show.
And then for WB to just be like, fuck you,
Yeah.
we're writing you out.
And then the last random thing that's like overall movie stuff is Mike Newell received $1 million for directing the film. By comparison, Chris Columbus, director of the first Harry Potter film, made $10 million and a percentage of the gross.
Whoa.
Newell needs a better agent.
Jesus Christ.
God, Chris.
Tim, one more thing. They actually
Yeah.
considered making this movie two
Two
parts.
movies.
Yeah.
And then the director of the third one was like, don't do that. It's stupid.
It's true.
So we're at the skulls, Nick.
We are at the skulls, and a gigantic anaconda snake comes out of one of them and slithers by Thomas Riddle's grave, who, you gotta imagine this guy wasn't that nice of a guy to get a gravestone that is literally the Grim Reaper. But I digress.
Dude, I feel like that's they bought it for the family because there's several
It's a
names
family
on
plot,
there.
yeah.
So they probably got a deal on it, and it looks cool.
They were like, it's really ominous, but we're not going to come back to Home Depot. You know what? Just buy it. Just buy it, and we'll pull it out there. That's right. It's a family grave plot. We pull out, and we see a gigantic mansion, and then a little groundskeeper hut right next to it, similar to Hagrid's, but a lot more modern. Of course, there's an old man making tea, looks over, sees a light on in the mansion, and is like, damn, kids, I'm going to go get... No weapons or anything. If these kids were like hooligans, they could easily take this old man. But he's a man that, Kevin, fought in the war. You see what I'm saying? Made of stuff that we couldn't even imagine. He goes in there with just his lamp and his guts.
And he was
boy,
gonna
does
beat
he
those
fucking
kids.
die fast.
Yeah.
Because he comes upon a scene that unfortunately no muggle could possibly understand. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Baby V. Baby Voldemort with his cute little baby
Do you think
arms.
he saw the baby arm?
I saw the baby arm. You see it a little bit. He goes... He makes Wormtail kiss the ring a little bit.
Yeah.
Wormtail's there. And another gentleman there who we'll just call Barty Crouch Jr. because you're not really supposed to know who he is, but we see him. So, and it's David Tennant, so we all know who he is.
Cool
so-
hair.
so
David
he's
Tennant will
there.
always
Yeah.
have a great
Good
head of
hair.
And the old man's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here, but Voldemort does because he can see through walls, and he just goes, "There's the groundskeepers outside."
No, the snake tells him.
Oh, that's right.
Nagini's like,
Nagini slipped this by, was like,
and he's like, wait, what? And Nagini's like, and he's like, outside.
Yeah.
That's right.
This is good.
And
I
he's
really like
"Please
it."
welcome our
I
guest
didn't know
in."
who this dude was, the David Tennant guy, and like I don't know who
You were
he is.
supposed to be confused.
Yeah, I was like, is that Harry's dad?
No.
Like this old school hangs.
You don't know who he is unless you've, I mean, obviously for the books and the movies, you know who he was. But no, when you started the movie, you're like, I don't know who this guy is. Got great hair, though. Great hair.
Great hair, yeah.
Great hair. We'll make an awesome Doctor
Great
Who.
tongue too.
Of course, they ice the old man, and who wakes up? Harry. Harry wakes
Who
up.
ices the old man?
I think.
Is it Voldemort?
No, it was Wormtail.
Was it Wormtail?
Yeah. I thought it was
That
Wormtail.
makes sense.
Someone used the
That
death
makes
curse on
sense.
him.
No, Wormtail opens the door, and then Voldemort's like, move out of the way so I can give our guests a proper greeting, and you
Proper
hear
greeting.
Voldemort say Avada Kedavra.
Yeah.
Oh.
Of
course
course,
we
I
know.
was like, oh man,
Yeah,
that spells
shit's
bad.
going down. Of course, Harry wakes in from a fever dream. He thinks it's a nightmare that he's been having. He's woken up by Hermione, and Ron is sleeping next to him. They're getting woken up very, very early. Hermione, of course, has been up for like, you have to assume hours at this point because she's the
Prepared.
overachiever.
Racking
And
it.
she's like, you can't go back to bed.
Jesus.
and Ron's wearing a dope ass. Would you say she's whacking it?
We already got our. All right. It took us 25 minutes to get to the first sex joke, though. Not bad.
The thing that broke me is Kevin just not breaking eye contact, just looking at
Well,
me.
the idea of her whacking it in the morning before the guys are awake. It's really disturbing.
Of course, Ron is there too in the 1970s tank top that's kind of dope. And I think my grandma had a couch with the same material. Doesn't matter. They're like, we got to get going. We're going on a fun thing. And they start walking out into the middle of the forest. And who do they meet up with? That's right. They meet up with Amos Diggory, who is like a very jolly person. And they're like, where's Cedric? And then Cedric drops out of the motherfucking sky. Where was he?
He just walks in, dude.
No,
Jumps out of the
Later.
tree.
Yeah,
He drops out of the tree.
Yeah. They're like, what are you doing with the tree, Cedric?
Lost my shit. It's
weird.
Gia didn't have her glasses on, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And she's like, what? And I'm like, first off, wear your goddamn glasses when we're watching movies. Second off, it's Edward Cullen, and she didn't believe me.
Yeah, it is.
She didn't wear her glass?
I don't understand. It's like, what are we doing here? Is this a fucking joke to you?
Do you watch this on your the TV by your bed or the?
No, big ass TV.
Good.
Must have big ass.
Of course, they climb up a hill as the sun rises, and they
We're
approach.
just gonna ignore the fact that like Amos got there with the sun. Was like, climb the tree. When they come, you'll pop down. It'll be fucking funny.
I think the idea was that Cedric is just this like outdoorsy kind of guy, and he just likes to climb stuff because he's got so much energy in his beautiful chest that he can just get up a tree real fast.
Yeah,
That was my guess.
happened before.
Oh yeah, he also might be a Twilight guy because those guys could like jump and like skip off
run
the
in the
trees,
trees.
right? That's all that matters. They finish hiking up this small hill toward an old boot, and Harry's like, "What's that?" Once again, proving he doesn't really know anything's going on. And everyone's like, "It's not a boot, Harry. It's a port key." And they all touch it at the same time, and they go, "Ready, everyone? Cool." And then no one preps Harry, and then he throws up all over the place. And they go 1, 2, 3, and they start spinning through space and time because this thing is a port key. In fact, spins them out right above the Quidditch World Cup. All the kids get thrown out except for I think it was Arthur, Amos, and Cedric are just kind of hiking down. They're just like,
I hated the way that
Oh, I
looked.
love it.
I love how
like
stupid
it.
it looks.
It's really stupid.
so dumb. People are flying all around. This is dope. There's like a tent encampment that's super awesome. There's flags from all over the countries. They walk through the madness of little small tents. They come to a small tent and they enter it, and then boom, magic. Magic is fantastic.
I love magic.
This tent
I
has
love that.
everything inside. It is. Go ahead.
Sorry, that line so reminded me of the Ninja Turtles. I love being a turtle. Of where it's like, yeah, dude, you're right. Being a
right.
turtle is better, and magic's fucking cool.
Yeah.
That night, of course, they head off to the World Cup match, and the stadium is freaking amazing. Very much like the O2, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Where they play at Wimbledon.
Yo, with a D.
I'm
Saying
trying
it
to
with a
pronounce
D
everything right
now.
'cause
Yeah.
we keep getting pissed off when I say Hermione. Or Hermione.
You say it so
I'm doing it
bad.
wrong. The Malfoys, of course, are there, and they're just total dicks about where their seats at. They're like, we're sitting with the minister's box, yada, yada, yada. And then they're like, we got good seats, too. Turns out they don't have good seats.
Fucking
They're on the fucking rafters.
Draco with his Tom Hiddleston Loki Ragnarok suit. I was like, let's fucking go. That all black suit, like you look dope.
I wanted to imagine Lucius like turning the corner and seeing Harry be like, "Oh fuck, I tried to kill him earlier. I tried to kill him. Let's go, let's go." Like, can I try to kill him?
Dude, but Lucius coming in with like, don't insult them. They're beneath us.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
But also, Lucius throws a low-key little foreshadowing. He tells them to enjoy themselves while they can, and then walks away. And they're like, what does that mean? I would be like, hey, what the? Hey, whoa, hey, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
What you got going on, dog? Call Dumbledore. Call the homies. Come out. Let's see. The Weasleys, of course, are just up in the. They're like literally on top of the stadium, looking down, just like.
And it was like
Valkyrie
a mile
was.
up.
Jesus,
It's so
Which, to
high.
be fair, the way that they play fucking Quidditch might be great seats.
Yeah.
Might be
No,
the best
yeah,
seats. They watch the teams from Ireland introduced, and then next up the Bulgarians are introduced, which includes the best seeker in the world, according to Ron, Victor Crumb.
I always hated that scene.
Ron is just so into
It was
this
cool
guy.
seeing the crowd, but I just hated Victor Crumb coming in. It looks so
You
stupid.
nailed that.
I just
I
hate
thought
him.
you were. Are you
I
Victor
loved it.
Crumb?
I hate him.
It's the same thing where it's like that.
He just doesn't look cool.
They
Like,
embody the feeling.
He never
like a
sold like
15-year-old kid.
He never
playing Quidditch.
sold like the hot guy that all the girls would be after.
See, I was on a G. I loved his casting. I thought that it was perfect. That it wasn't this just like jockey looking dude. He was some dude that looks like he fucks in a bad way.
He looks like a guy that doesn't like shower and he like fucking doesn't
Like
eat.
he's the, gets realized as
Yeah.
a man.
He just
That's
eats
what
his, he just eats his meat like from the dead animal. I feel
That's
like
what he's supposed to look
His
like.
name's Crumb.
it's just it's,
Victor Crumb
it's
with a
gross,
K.
Yeah.
Of course, Cornelius.
on the Victor part. Or?
Cornelius Fudge gives the opening speech, and the match starts. And we cut immediately to later that night, back in the tent. Ireland presumably won this match. Barrett, is that correct?
Yeah, so
Wasn't even close.
interesting tidbit. Ireland was actually beating Bulgaria so bad that Crumb decided to catch the snitch without still being
Just to
able
end the game?
Yeah, just to end the game on his terms. So Ireland won. But Crumb caught the snitch, which is like a weird bet that the Weasley twins make at some point with someone in the book, where they like call exactly how it's going to play out.
But wasn't it like 10 points to 170 or something crazy? Where like they were kicking the shit out of Bulgaria.
Yeah, it was like a good like 160, 170.
Well, don't you get 150 for just
Yeah,
the
150
secret
for
point?
just the secret,
yeah,
and they
more
still
than that.
lost.
Yeah,
And then
So they-
McGonagall like lost a lot of money on
McGonagall
it.
was just like, shit.
As soon as they lost, like she fucking booked it. She was like, I can't.
Like
be
Harry
caught.
gets back to Hogwarts, like, where's my Nimbus?
They're gonna
Where's my
break
fireball?
They're
Who the
gonna
fuck
break
stole
my knees,
fireball?
dude.
Of course, there's some crazy stuff happening outside, and at first they think it's just the Irish celebrating like the Irish do, but it turns out to be a little something more intense than that. And they look outside,
terrorist
and it's
attack.
like a fucking Klan rally. It is just guys with these crazy suits on, lighting everything on fire.
Well, it's like after the Super Bowl where people ride in the streets and they flip over trucks and they light shit on fire because they're happy. Like that's what they probably thought it was
Yeah.
first.
That's what I
Ireland
would
won.
assume it
We're
was.
celebrating. Yeah.
Yeah, watch out for the Irish. They get
What
snippy.
do you got against the Irish?
They're known partiers is all I'm going to say. They're a little intense. In the chaos, of
Look
course,
at
Harry gets, look at, perfect example, right? Like, don't get a couple drinks in her. That's all I'm saying. In
Let's
the
not
chaos-
make up lies about
Perfect
crazy.
example. I'll fight
She's
you.
like
I'll fight you real
perfectly
hard.
like chill.
This is the nicest person you've ever met, but she'll fucking kill you. In the chaos, Harry gets separated from the group and knocked out. Fudge Jr. Crouch Jr. Walks to the burned out camp and looks up and then puts up the dark mark into the sky. Of course, Harry wakes and sees them, and this is not. Harry doesn't know what it is, but he knows it's not good, and it's time to run. And as he runs, he hears Ron and Hermione calling back. They all meet up in the dark, and they look up and they see the dark mark, and Harry's scar starts to burn. Suddenly, a bunch of good wizards materialize and try and stupefy everyone, but they miss horribly.
Terribly.
So, this is just a reason why
The
Voldemort. I'd be
stormtroopers.
like, hey guys, let's take this as a learning moment. Y'all suck at pointing your wands at shit. Because these are 3 kids that weren't even moving. You got to stupefy. Pull it down. You want me to tape it to your back?
Yeah, please.
All right. Barty Crouch Sr. is there and
I got
accuses
it.
Harry of
I
doing the
know.
dark mark, and Arthur Weasley's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, don't try to stick that on my shit, okay? Because that shit ain't going to stick. And he just lets it go real quick.
Don't try to stick that on my shit because that shit isn't gonna stick.
He's
Also,
like,
I love that Harry's just like the dark. What? He's just so confused
Again,
about
Harry
everything.
always
What's
is
going
like
on?
in the
read
wrong
a fucking
place.
book, dude.
Yeah.
Hermione's on top of it.
Yeah, Harry's like, it wasn't me, it was some dude over there. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll immediately believe you and run after that guy. We leave them as they're all staring at the dark mark in the
Which
sky.
again, I was
which is
saying
fucking
earlier,
awesome.
I liked that this movie kind of just all the dumb criticisms I had, they like address it. Harry's caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's like, oh, please don't do it. And they're like, no,
Thank you.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Just go get him. Like, thank you. Go chase the fucking bad guy.
Also, just shout out to the effects of the dark mark, where it's the skull and then the snake is just coming out of it up in the
So
smoke and the
cool.
green smoke.
I didn't
up
like
in
the sky
sky
stuff. The tattoo shit was cool.
Tattoo shit's
All
dope.
of it is fucking
The sky
awesome.
stuff just felt like excessive. I didn't understand its purpose in the world.
It's just to strike fear in everyone's heart.
So
and let people
usually
know it's coming back.
Back in the, I think they explain this in this book, but they don't really bring it up in the movie, so it doesn't matter. Back when Voldemort was originally in power, they would put the dark mark over someone's house when a Death Eater would kill someone. So it was a sign like, hey, we just
shit up.
fuck shit
Cool.
up. Yeah.
It's like in college
Could've
football.
used
College football, you do a cool play, you put a sticker on your helmet and be like, here's my dark mark. I did a cool play. And
see
by the
that.
end of the season, your helmet's full of dark marks. But like I'm a baller.
But yeah, it was
Shot caller.
significant here because it's the first time anybody's seen a dark mark in
years.
years. So that's why everybody is like fucking terrified right now.
We're back in the Hogwarts Express, and at this point, I noticed that for whatever reason, every child in this story has grown their hair out to a 70s style. And I'm all for
Fucking
it.
dope.
I'm all for
Yeah.
it. Harry is trying to buy something from the chocolate cart, but loses his appetite for mere sweets when he sees, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Cho Chang. Ho! Ho! And they got a little moment here.
They did. Dude.
Okay.
I mean, I love that you made the reference about the sweets because
Oh
he saw
my
that shit and was
God.
just like,
Chocolate ain't sweet
forget
anymore.
everything. Like,
Now-
as I have eyes for
Time to
only
risk
one.
it all.
Let me ask
yeah.
you this question, Tim.
Please do. Nick.
Have you heard Cho Chang speak yet?
Just in the
Just in later in the movie,
Windmill,
right?
whatever the fuck
At
it
this
was.
point, we haven't seen her yet. We haven't heard her speak. We've just seen her. We haven't heard her speak. Is what I'm driving at. When we hear her speak for the first time with that Scottish accent,
Yeah.
it's everything.
It's really cool.
Everything. Of course, Harry's like, okay, I'm immediately in love with this girl because that's what happens when you're a child. You just see someone and she's cute, and they give you the look, and you lock eyes, and you realize, I want to dance
Not
with
much
somebody. I
changes
want
when
to
you get
feel the heat
older.
with somebody.
You get
and
the look.
that's true. I still have that look with the missus every Sunday. Let's see. Hermione tells
I've
Harry.
seen him have that look.
to get in contact with Sirius and tell him about the World Cup and the dream he had where Baby V and the Funky Bunch killed an old man, presumably. And maybe presumably let Nagini swallow him whole and just digest him for a solid month. At Hogwarts, the French team flies in. This is where we get the first glimpse of the other schools. They fly in a giant carriage flown by Pegasi.
Yeah.
This is the team from the lovely ladies of Beauxbatons. Beauxbatons. We'll just say
Mercy
that.
High School.
Next up, the Bulgarians show up in an old ship that's like a submarine ship, but it's like a ship and it comes out of the water and it's super, super cool. They are, of course, the team from Durmstrang Institute, which is like, is that a technical institute, you think?
Is it Institute?
Yeah.
Oh.
You think it's
a trade school,
I think it's like a trade school.
No, it's definitely not just a trade
Teach
school.
woodworking.
It's just another
like
magic
woodworkers.
school.
Dumbledore, of course, gives the opening announcements. Hogwarts has been chosen to host the Tri-Wizard Cup. Filch comes in a weird little dancing, like an asshole sort of thing that he did because he just doesn't know how to act around these people, and I guess that's the pomp and circumstance he's supposed to have. The tournament brings together 3 schools. From each school, a student is selected to compete. Let me be clear: if chosen, you stand alone. Trust me when I say that these contests are not for the faint of heart. Dumbledore, again, not really understanding the role of a leader, someone who should instill confidence. Instead, just being like, you should be scared of anything.
Wait,
that's in this school.
did the students come into the actual Great Hall yet?
Not yet.
Okay, cool.
Of course, then they welcome the lovely ladies of Beauxbatons Academy of Magic and their instructor, Madame Maxime. We see the ladies come in, led by Fleur Delacour. She comes in, they do a little fun dance, little butterflies fly out everywhere.
So
do it with me,
cool.
everybody.
I had such a crush on her. Oh my god.
That's great. I think her little sister's there as well. Next up, we get the men from Durmstrang Institute for Magical Learning. This, again, is it a JC? I don't know. Maybe it's a state school. Who knows? Their headmaster is Igor
Juco.
Karkaroff. Dumbledore explains the rules. Each contestant will have to compete in 3 super dangerous challenges. To explain the extra restrictions, we've brought in the head. There's extra restrictions. Brought in the head of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement, Barty Crouch. Just then, a psychotic-looking homeless man enters, and the magic that affects the ceiling goes fucking nuts with lightning. The transient takes out his wand and handles the stuff.
He
and
looks
then
like
goes back.
Lin-Manuel Miranda with like makeup. Like in
No,
Mad-Eye
you're thinking of Igor.
Oh, I'm thinking of that guy.
I'm talking about Mad-Eye Moody.
Okay.
I was like, he looks nothing like Lin-Manuel. no matter makeup could make that actor look like Lin-Manuel. The kids are in awe because, of course, this is the first time they've seen the one and only Alistair Mad-Eye Moody, the Auror or Dark. He's an Auror and a famous Auror. And Harry's like, again, no, I don't read fucking books. What's an Auror? And they're like, it's a dark wizard hunter. And that is the coolest thing you could
It's
possibly
the coolest fucking
It's like
thing.
Dog the Bounty
Again,
Hunter of this
movie-
world.
it's just yeah, it is. It's exactly
Yeah.
like that. This movie
like
just like,
less
hey, what's
racist.
cool? Let's just give you the cool stuff. Great.
Dude, when he walks in and just shoots the storm out of the ceiling, what a great intro.
Of course, he walks in and immediately, like, everyone looks at him, and what does he do? He takes out a vial of, you assume it's the courage juice. It's just the stuff that's getting him along this time. They put it, and the kids all laugh it up because alcoholism is not a big deal in the wizarding world. They're just like, oh, he's in the cold. He likes to take a little nip of the good stuff. You know, the old brandy.
A little nippy nip.
He's warm up his chest a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. He lost a leg and an eye, and God knows what else.
Yeah.
Is anything else working on him? We don't know.
We don't know.
Also, why didn't they grow his leg back? I digress. It doesn't matter. Moody enters and takes. Crouch tells the students that due to the new restrictions, no child under the age of 17 can throw their name into the mix. Dumbledore changes that big ass statue thingy into the one and only Goblet of Fire, which spits out dope ass blue flames. Anyone wishing to enter the tournament can write their name on a piece of parchment and put it in the cup. We see Karkaroff sneak off. Oh, then it was weird. There's a weird cut here. We see like one shot of the Durmstrang guy, Igor Karkaroff, sneaking in. Karkaroff? Thank you.
call me
Karkaroff
Igor.
sneak into the Great Hall at night. He's like, "Ooh," and I'm like, wow, that's weird.
Oh, that was later, though, wasn't that?
No, that's right after this, according to my
really?
notes. And then Mad-Eye Moody. Next we get up
You
Mad-Eye
gotta
Moody's.
mention, wait, he was probably somehow making it so Victor won, right?
I imagine he's putting Victor's name in. I don't know. It was weird. They never really went back to it.
100 times.
You see one shot where he's like, ooh, and then closes
Yeah.
the door and the.
I think it was supposed to help with the mystery of who put his name
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Goblet of Fire.
Didn't need it.
But really, he was just making sure Victor got in there because he knew Victor would bring in the victory.
Next up, we got Mad-Eye Moody's defense against the Dark Arts class, where he's like, you know what, everyone, you've been taught shit.
We're going
I'm
to
teaching
10,
you
baby.
the real shit.
Y'all are pussies, man.
I'm going to teach you about the 3 unforgivable curses. And you need to know what you're up. There's some shit happening outside. You didn't know what you're up against. The Ministry doesn't want me to do this, but you know what? I'm going to prepare y'all. And I'm like, good.
Good for
You
you.
should.
He's totally the
You're
guy that's
14.
like, everybody gets medals these days and awards. Like, everybody's.
He's like, no participation awards.
He's
for Matt
totally like
Moody.
oh, y'all are snowflakes.
No,
No
guys.
trigger warnings. None of that bullshit.
He's the teacher's like, y'all read about syphilis, but you're about to look at it.
Oh, shit! No, Who wants to know what it tastes like? Who wants to taste my syphilis?
Too far, Nick.
I'm sorry.
Too far.
Moody,
You don't have to one up every time.
We had a great
let
thing.
it go.
A teacher was pulling out his dick in front of a class.
And then
Why are you
Hermione's
making it?
like, I'll take
No.
a little look at that king.
and now you're
shot.
doubling down even.
Let's take a look at the lollipop.
Why?
Moody asks Ron for the first curse, and the only one the redheaded little friend can think of is the Imperious Curse. Moody takes a little insect, makes it bigger, and then floats it around with the Imperious Curse and makes it fall on people's heads and all these things. And it's kind of creepy, but it's also kind of fun until it gets fucking shit gets real. He's like, what should I have him do next? Jump out the window? Drown himself? And then it gets real. Where he's like, a lot of witches and wizards claimed they were under the spell of the Imperious Curse when they did you-know-who's bidding. So, just shit's fucking real. It's great. It's creepy as fuck.
I didn't like him using showing because I feel like for the most part he was just making it fly and float over stuff. Like when he held it over the water, it still was trying to hold back, and it's like that doesn't. Like the Imperious Curse is you going into the mind and controlling it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was a little unclear on what it was doing because when he was talking about, I thought I was like, when it's going out the window, is it stopping itself? And from the water, is it stopping itself? So it's like you can control it, but you can't kill it. But then immediately then they started talking.
That's
and
all wrong.
explaining it.
Yeah. So the weird example.
Visually, it was weird.
I thought it was just to show how fucked up and dark he can get, where he's, although this is an ugly ass bug or whatever, he's still showing I could kill this fucking thing right now. I could drown it. Should I drown it? It's just really, it sets the mood for what kind of person he is.
Moody.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, next off, he does show off the curse because he goes to Neville of all people, which will have significance later in the movie. And Neville brings up the how do you say this curse, Barrett?
The Cruciatus Curse.
The Cruciatus Curse, which hits very close to home with him. Moody he uses it on the little bug and it tortures him. And then, of course, Moody goes to Hermione for the final curse, and she doesn't even want to say what it is, but she does. She's Avada Kedavra.
Does she say it? I don't think she does. Someone else.
Oh no, she does.
She's like, fuck you, I don't want
to
part
say
of
it because
this.
she knows he's
No
going to kill
blood
the
on
bug.
my hands.
Which I was really proud of her for. I was like,
And he
good
says,
for you.
of course, only one person is known to have survived it, and he's sitting in this room,
Hell yeah, he
which is dope as fuck. Then he ices the thing. He just kills it in front of everyone. He's like, "This is a life and death thing. Everyone needs to
proof,
realize."
dude.
It's a
this shit could
spider,
take
dude.
their life.
Fuck him.
Later, Hermione is very, very distraught, as is Neville. Moody catches up with Neville and invites him for tea. He's like, "Sorry, kid. I know you've been through some shit. We all have. Come have a cup of tea with me." And I'm like, "What a nice guy. What could possibly go wrong?"
Another terrible moment of someone should have directed that scene just a little bit better of Longbottom just standing in front of the window,
He's so lurchy.
and it's stop. This looks
Lurchy.
so dumb.
Kevin, give me the girls thing again, the ladies again. Ready? All right. Of course, later it's raining and everyone's with all of his stupid ass Hufflepuff friends cheering his ass on. Cedric Diggory goes over and he puts his name in the thing, and everyone's like, "Oh, he did it! He put his name in the thing. He's so tall." I'm like, he's not that fucking tall. First off. Second off, if I needed to, I get a stool. I put a fucking stool in the thing. I put my name in the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's that being tall is not. You know what I mean?
If I get a running start, you
Fucking
know,
dunk on that shit.
Yeah.
Fadeaway dunk.
give me a trampoline.
God damn it. God, he's good looking. Fred and George, of course, this is a great little scene where Fred and George attempt to drink an aging potion, and Hermione's like, "That shit ain't gonna work, dude." The Dumbledore himself put that age ring around that cool little blue light, and he's like, "You're not gonna fucking be able to outsmart him. It's so stupid." They're like, "That's why it's genius, because it's so dumb. It's gonna work." They drink the potion, they jump in and like, "Hey, it worked." Throw their name, doesn't work. It blows them fucking back, probably breaking one of their knees.
Yeah.
And they just turn super old and they start getting pissed at each other. It's super fun though.
The growing hair looked real bad.
Very bad. Crumb, of course, comes in and throws his name and then stares just fucking deeply into Hermione's eyes. Just thirsty.
Hey, dude.
Like, I have not had water in years, and you are just a tall, cold glass of it.
I wanted this to happen so bad.
He's just
did
like
happen.
such a caveman. That's why I just.
But
got
forever. She should have married Victor Crumb instead of.
you marry me. He just this fucking
But he's not. Well, actually, I don't know. Because he's in
just
the library, but
he's
I
like
don't
a
know.
Neanderthal.
I don't know if he's in the library all the time for her or he just likes studying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Barrett?
He's in for there for her.
Does he
For
like
sure.
studying or for her?
He doesn't like
He's there
studying.
for
Doesn't
her.
give a shit about studying. He's a Quidditch player.
He's a Quidditch player. He's getting paid. All of his classes are getting mysteriously
The college
passed.
athletes. Dude.
Exactly. Now, of course, the moment we've waited for, the champion selection has begun. Dumbledore coaxes the names out of the fire one by one from Durmstrang, Victor Crumb, of course, from Bo Battens, Fleur Delacour, howdy. And then from Hogwarts, of course, Cedric Diggory. And everyone's like, yeah. And Harry's like, thank God. Thank God. This is one story
I'm
I
gonna
can
have
just
a smooth year this
smooth
year.
Easy
I thought it was
peasy,
going to be
fresh and
Harry.
squeezy.
I thought it was going to be like great, here we fucking go. And then it wasn't. And then it was.
Only one person will win the Tri-Wizard Cup, and and then he waves his hand, and we see it for the first time. The Tri-Wizard Cup, just infinitely better than that stupid trending gamer award that Greg keeps on his desk. Just wait, lights up, magical. Might be a port key. We don't know.
Hey, shut up. We don't want to fucking lose points, dude. We already lost 15 points today.
Right, bro, I'm sorry.
That was your fault
Greg's
for
the best.
not standing for anything.
Yeah,
you know
bro,
what
why
I
don't
mean?
you fucking
Why'd
stand
you
by
eat the
your
In-N-Out?
rules?
My
In-N-Out
ears still ringing.
fries, In-N-Out burgers are good. I've said that before.
Do I want to agree with you? Or is it clear that you just don't like the fries? I mean, maybe.
It's kinda
But
clear.
I'm never going to disagree
Crystal.
with you.
Like, looking through a piece of glass. Of course, everything seems fine and dandy until, the flames turn red once again, and little piece of parchment gets spit out, and as it floats up, we see Harry's name on it. Dumbledore, of course, catches it and reads it. Just very not happy about this. Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
He's pissed. Yeah.
He is pissed. And
He
then-
should be,
I love the reaction that Harry has. He's like, "Oh fuck, what did I do?" Oh, of
course, Harry's like- yeah, Harry's like, shit. Harry, like, slinks
Hermione's
down.
like, "Stand up, bro! Like, go over there."
What I like especially about this, though, is they have a
Fucking
quick
settle
cutaway to Hagrid, where Hagrid just goes, no.
Yeah.
Like, this is not happening. Like, Harry's not going to go into this. And then Ron is just immediately like, boo, boo.
But you'd think they would have the same reaction about anybody that's like 3 years older than them, right? Like they're still kids at this. Like,
Oh, fuck them, though. No, I mean, you age exponentially every year is like 10 years of your life. By the time you're a senior, you're a solid 70-year-old person. They don't care if you die anymore.
Yeah, if Cedric
You're
Diggory dies,
geriatric.
he's what, 64? He lived a good
64
life.
years old. Just hot, though. Harry gets pushed to the front where he has to reluctantly accept the challenge. Professor McGonagall is like, you fucked up, and Snake is like, you're fucked. Like, they're just all looking at him like, this is not good for you.
McGonagall leaned over and was like, $40 on Harry. Changed her bet.
There's some shithead kid in the back. It's like, he's a cheater. He cheated.
But like,
Fuck you, dude. Like, fuck
Fuck
you.
you.
also-
Y'all were cheering
Yeah,
for fucking
yeah,
Fred and
everyone-
George
Yeah.
5 minutes ago.
Of course, they drag his ass into a room and give him the what for. Dumbledore's like, how did you do it, Harry? How did you do it? And Harry's like, I did not do this. And then he's like, you know what? I believe you. Of course, out of all the people to come to his aid, I think Snape was the one that's like, I don't think he could have done that. Like a really exceptionally powerful. That was a really exceptionally powerful Confundus charm could have done this. And Harry's just not. It's not possible.
Moody came to that.
Moody's the one that says right. Karkakoff accuses Moody of doing it, and Moody's like, well, you fucking did it because you used to be a dark wizard. Remember, I remember your ass because I used to hunt you down. You could have taken my other leg. And he's like, maybe. And Karkakoff's like, oh shit, I do remember. Crouch.
Oh, that was you, fuck.
Oh, shit. You had 2 eyes, didn't recognize it.
And then of course Crouch is like, listen, dude, this is just a this is the contract. There's no way around it. This represents a binding agreement. Harry's in as of tonight. He's one of the Tri-Wizard champions. Now this is where let's take a little stroll here. You can't call him a champion if he hasn't won the thing yet. A Tri-Wizard contestant.
but they're champions
They're the
because
champions
they
for
are
their school.
elected from each school.
Yeah, but he hasn't won. You're not the champions if you didn't win the Super Bowl.
I don't think
Well,
you- I don't think
it's a different form of
Yeah,
champion.
it's a different word.
If like you
Representative.
Again,
you
I feel
love
like-
Harry Potter, you are a champion for this.
I think Mad Eye Moody
franchise.
would have a problem with this word because he doesn't believe in participation awards. And just because you got selected doesn't mean you're a champion.
Good God.
Okay? Just
That's not
why
what
don't
that
you go
word
over there
means.
into the icebox with the rest of your snowflake friends? Okay?
Okay.
I see what you guys are saying. That makes sense. Yeah, totally makes sense now. Okay. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Context-wise, that's great.
just wanted to get the joke out there.
Sorry. I said, I just throwed it out there to see if it got hit. It just got caught and put away. So sorry about that. I apologize. Let's move on. Professor McGonagall and Dumbledore chat later. I mean, we got to put an end to this shit. Or we could rig it like our local Quidditch matches because Mama needs a new Porsche. McGonagall was like, we can kill the other 3 kids, then we just win this shit, right?
Quick question: like, what was the punishment of not like? Why didn't they just be like, nah, he wasn't supposed to be in there and just take him out?
Well, 'cause they
there's,
said that there
only
was, like,
3
binding.
people,
It was
a
and
question
all
for
the games
It was
are
a
designed
question for
for 3
Barrett.
people, so I guess we can just add a 4th.
Is there death on the?
Well, so the whole point of it was that
Okay.
they could have pulled him out, but Dumbledore was like, Snape was like,
I don't think they
listen, if
could've.
there's something fishy. Well, they probably could have, but he was like, I think we should let things play out because something's going on, and the only thing we're going to be able to get the only way we're going to get any information is if we let this thing just
Let's use
play out
him
the way
as
it's supposed
bait.
to.
Use Harry
Basically,
Potter
use him
as
as bait. And Dumbledore's like, all right.
So that scene doesn't happen in the book because
Actually,
all of
the
it's like
answer.
mainly from Harry's perspective. Crouch goes into like not super more of it, but he is like this is a magical binding contract, and we'll get into some of like other magical binding contracts throughout the series. But the
die.
not death, but the theory is because they don't really explain it is that like your body would be forced to still like go into the trial and stuff like that.
And then the game designers are like, "Fuck, we just made this for 3 people. Like, shit, we gotta go.
We
Hold
got
on.
3 lanes and
Yeah.
a
There's
maze.
There's like 4
Yeah.
dudes who were like, fuck.
Open up the debug menu.
We
gotta
were
fucking
done.
hold
We
on.
were done.
Yeah.
Now we got to work OT, and this is
Yeah.
what the entire video
Bring
game
back the level
industry
designer.
complains about all the time. It's crunch time. Let's see. Back at the Gryffindor common room, Ron and Harry get into it. Ron accuses him of always wanting eternal glory. Harry's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And Ron just goes, "Oh, piss off." And that's like, "Well, fuck you,
so
Ron."
inappropriate.
I
All
hate
of
you,
this.
Ron.
The next day, Rita Skeeter comes in. She's a writer for the Daily Prophet, and she brings her photographer, and they start interviewing the quartet of contestants, and she gets really handsy with these kids.
Real handsy, especially with Harry, and it's like, yo, motherfucker, like, what are you trying to do? Like, oh, hey, does this remind you of your old home, you
Yeah.
little slut? It's like, damn.
Damn.
Rita Skeeter.
Rita's like, "No, I won't tell anyone. Take it out." She gets Harry's age wrong.
Stop.
You don't
Just
always-
stop. You're fine. It was
That was
fun.
the first sexual thing I did.
No,
We
was
were
it
50
wasn't.
minutes in. You guys did
Remember
the first
when
one.
you
Do you remember the other things?
teacher Hermione blowing the teacher?
No, it was literally just the lollipop to see what the flavor it was.
God.
Syphilis.
What's it taste like? Turns out
Lick the
cherries.
syphilis.
Oh,
Jesus.
right. No more sexual innuendos.
No, just don't push it. You can make your own. Just don't push other people's over is all we're saying.
The joke can end.
Of course, she's totally editorializing here, which Harry catches on
A
to when
boy
he
of
looks
11.
over. Yeah, he's like, "That's not. I'm 12 or 13, whatever." And then she goes. He looks over. He's like, "My eyes aren't glistening with the ghosts of my past." Gets pissed and then leaves.
She reminds me of Tammy number 2 from Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah.
Right? Just kind of like this older lady, like kind of like she's fucked up and she's got stuff, but she's also horny.
I mean, you know, she has to do it. She got to do what she got to do. Harry gets a note from Sirius. Says we need to talk face to face. Meet me in the Gryffindor common room at 1:00. Come alone. P.S. Watch out for the bird that bites, and then the little owl that I sent was.
That was funny.
That's fun. Sirius, he goes down there. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. Sees a newspaper that has him on it. It's all this bullshit story that Rita Skeeter wrote. Crumbles it up, throws it in the fireplace, and whose face do we see appear in the fireplace? Sirius Black. I love this. He's like, "Harry, we have to talk." And I'm like, this is cool. You can just talk through the fire? Awesome.
Didn't love it.
You didn't love
I
it?
just thought
Oh,
was
you
weird.
cannot love it so
There's
much.
some magic shit I don't like.
I love it.
It's weird because it's different in the book. It's still the flu powder that Harry used in Chamber of Secrets, but they just put their head through, so their face just kind of appears through the flame. But yeah, I don't know why they chose to have him appear in like the logs and shit.
I
It's
like
weird.
the design that they did. Like where like in my mind it works the same way where it's like you're halfway through. But also, shouldn't the Flu Network actually connected to Hogwarts?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah.
It's I thought it was kind of cool, but it's also just, you know, you can do anything with magic. Forget
No,
everything
exactly.
you know.
I get it. It's just it is a forget everything you know.
But
Yeah.
it is magic though. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's if you have magic, you can do whatever unless
That's why I don't like
He
magic.
could have popped out of like his belly and like we still would have been like, oh, that was cool. Like
But that wouldn't work.
Why not?
There's no Flu
You could have
Network
been
for
really
bellies.
little in someone else's mouth, and when they open their mouth,
a little head pops up.
Yeah. Hey,
But like,
Harry.
I feel like Barrett just explained that this actually works with the shit that we learned.
But it didn't look the way that we learned.
We forgot everything we
because he
knew.
didn't
It's
jump
fun
on-
and
he
weird,
didn't
but
jump
maybe
all
it
the
was
way
all in
through.
Harry's head. We don't know. Sirius, of course, tells Harry Hogwarts isn't safe anymore. The devils are inside the walls. Igor Karkaroff was a Death Eater. Crouch has a heart of stone. He sent his own kid to Azkaban, Barty Crouch Jr. to Azkaban. And do you think any one of them? He's like, do you think they put my name in it? And he's like, well, someone did. Whoever did is not a friend of yours. So keep your friends close, Harry. Your real
Keep your friends close. Here, hold on. Yeah, number 3 with no cheese. Like, I can just
I
picture
said number 3. Stupid call, Monsters. Ron comes downstairs. He's like, what are you doing, Harry? And he's like, go back to bed. You already fucking yelled
Piss
at me, Ron.
off.
Piss off, you piece
Brilliant.
of shit.
That's
And
fucking
what goes-
brilliant, isn't it?
down at next up, we're down at the. Now, here's what I'm gonna ask, Barrett. You get to make this choice. In the books, it's called the Great Lake, right? But in the movies, they call it the Black Lake.
I need to.
We'll call it the Black Lake from now on because that's what they refer to it in the movies. But I called it the Great Lake before, and people were giving me shit in the comments.
What do English people? What do the British people want? Because they're like,
Brilliant lake.
it has to be Philosopher's Stone.
Well, when you
Fuck
Google
you
it,
guys.
the Great
Dumb
Lake Harry
Philosopher's
Potter, it
Stone
comes
all
up. It says
the way.
also known as the Black Lake. So it's known by both.
Yeah. So I would say the Great Lake, I think, is what they usually call it in the books. And then also they call it the Forbidden Forest in the books
Not
as
the
well.
Dark Forest?
Yeah, and they call it the Dark Forest in the movies.
Dark Forest is cooler. We're going with that.
In,
Forbidden Forest makes it sound like
in
I'm
the
gonna make a
Pottermore
sexual
stuff.
reference.
She said that Harry Potter's American now, like so it's ours.
Oh, that makes sense. Cool.
Cool.
I did make that somewhere.
Let's see. They're hanging out, and Neville is like, "Dude, I know everything there is to know about this lake. I'm so excited. I'm just coming into my own." He's working through a book that Moody gave him called "Magical Water Plants of the Highland Lochs." Just then, Hermione, Ginny, and Ron come to deliver a message, and this scene's hilarious because it's totally what kids do. Ron's not talking to Harry. Harry's not talking to Ron, so they all go through Hermione, and she's like, "You know what? Damn it, I'm not an owl.
Yeah,
just go
it's
talk to Hagrid."
Very funny, cute.
Ron
scene.
says to go talk to Hagrid wants to talk to you via like 15 other people.
But Ron was also there, right? He
Yes.
was like right next to you.
Yes.
And
Guys,
why
I
would-
take it back. I like this movie.
All right.
I'm telling you, man, you come around.
See that character development, ladies and gentlemen. You just saw it right before your eyes.
I like the movie.
That right. That
Pretty
night,
good
of course,
movie.
Hagrid and Ron head out into the forest, and Hagrid asks if Harry's brought his father's cloak. Harry notices that Hagrid's wearing a flower and comes to Harry and he's like, "What the fuck what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me today?"
He's gonna watch some fucking giants go
gonna
at
Dude,
it.
fucking Tormund and Brienne, man.
Like, yeah. Best case scenario, I watch two giants bang. Worst case, I'm in the middle of that. We find out why Hagrid's done that because, of course, he meets up with Madame Maxime, who he's got a little bit of a crush on, and this is a very, very endearing scene. And of course, he wants to take her to show her something because he thinks that dragons are magical, and the rest of us think they're terrifying as fuck, including Harry, who sees the dragons and goes, "Holy shit, dragons!" That's the first challenge, and we see the horn-tailed whatever the hell it is that he has to go up against, and it's just the scariest
Bulgarian
thing.
horntail.
The Bulgarian horntail. It's terrifying as shit.
Maxine is like, like a real dragon. My bad.
The Hungarian horntail.
Yeah.
Hungarian.
Oh, you're right,
Romanian.
you're right, you're right,
It was Romanian.
Is it Romanian?
Yeah. I'll get to it in a second. I had it written
Yeah,
down.
Romania.
properly.
No, Hungarian horntail.
Hungarian.
Hungarian
Yeah.
horntail?
I'm pretty sure. The alliteration.
Oh, they
Yeah.
brought them all
Hungarian
over from. Well,
hippos.
someone says Charlie had to bring them over from Romania. Didn't Ron tell you? And then Harry's like, "No, his bitch ass didn't tell me anything about
And
this."
that was in the first book, right?
what?
My brother Charlie, he
He's a
studies
dragon.
Bit
dragons.
my finger.
Yeah.
So
Good one.
Harry's even more pissed at Ron because Ron didn't tell him about this, even though his brother Charlie clearly told him what was going on. Of course, you find out later.
And
that's
we've
not true.
actually met Charlie a couple times in the books at this point, but they're just like, yeah, fuck that guy.
And we mean about the house and shit. Somebody made badges, and I can't remember what they say, but they're basically fucking with Harry, which is
Yeah,
fucked up.
it's just like a
Yeah.
bunch of like pro
Isn't it-
Cedric, and then it turns into Harry stinks,
yeah.
which is a really mean thing to say.
Of course, Harry, concerned for his fellow Hogwartian. Really mean thing to say.
He got a weird energy today. I'm liking it.
A little behind the scenes action prior to this, Kevin was like, "Do you guys want to order Thai food?" And we were all yes. And Tim put a message in the app that said, "Make it as spicy as humanly possible."
Is that what it said?
And
I said,
holy
it said,
shit,
please make it spicy.
You were in
Oh,
pain.
did you not
today.
eat your food?
I
Oh, he ate all of it. And he cried. He was like,
crying.
really
Right.
crying.
He was
What I
crying.
buy for you?
Of course, Harry tells Harry's like, "I got to tell my fellow Hogwartian about the dragons because I don't give a shit about the other kids." But Cedric,
real talk. Y'all
Cedric.
gonna die.
You know, he's
Except
cool.
not.
What a good guy
now,
is Harry Potter.
Here's
kid,
what
you know?
he's a great guy, and Cedric, giant piece of shit.
No,
he's not.
No,
yes,
no,
yes.
No.
Harry pulls him aside and says, "Hey, clear as day, dragons. Dragons are the first challenge. Get your head on straight. Go figure it out. When it comes time for Cedric to repay the favor, what does he do? You might want to take a bath. Wink, wink." And then walks away. I'm like, why don't you just tell me to fucking listen to the thing under the water?
Yeah.
It's easy. Hey, you remember I said dragons?
No,
clear as
but
fucking
then
day.
he's like, go to this specific bathtub. Because he knew that
What,
Myrtle
she
would
could,
tell
be, she
him.
could be accosted by the ghost of Myrtle?
Yeah, that's the thing. He
Maybe
experienced
Cedric
something he
was
didn't
into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe Cedric was into it, but
Well,
Harry
she
sure
remember she was
wasn't.
like, "Oh, the bubbles were gone by the time he figured out, and I saw his dick."
Do you think
that's
Cedric
the
We
thing,
all
like-
saw his dick, though.
Guys, we can't,
The horse
like-
movie.
This is a real question.
Comments can't complain about us getting sexual because that scene was sexual,
Sexual.
dude. Like she
Okay.
wanted to
Oh.
see his dick. Like it's
that was-
crazy.
But to be fair, you got to give it to her. She's been a ghost for like 60 years.
And
at this
she
point.
looks 60.
She's old. Ghosts
I know,
apparently
I
age.
still hate her, and that was inappropriate.
I'm going to ask you a real question here.
Go for
And
it,
you
man.
don't have to answer it.
Okay.
How many kids do you think take advantage of this bath with Moating Myrtle watching?
It's a very special bath. Like not
It's a
everyone.
prefect's bath,
yeah.
right? So
I
you got to
think
be a
hey,
prefect.
if we're
Yeah.
just jumping to the bath right now, I think we need to have our first ever Harry Potter rank those apps.
Ooh.
Were they born in labs? Now it's time to rank those abs.
Welcome back to Rank Those Abs, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Nick Scarpino. Today, of course, we are going through all the abs in the Harry Potter series, which, if memory serves correct, is just this one scene. Just this scene and the scene with the fish. I guess Crumb has some abs in that, right? Is he shirtless in that one? We can't remember.
I think so. I think
he's got a little tank
yeah.
top. They're all wearing like those old 1940s dive suits.
Swimsuits, yeah.
In this one,
Dive
Daniel
suits.
Radcliffe, not zero abs. Just zero abs. Flat
He's a little boy.
as a surfboard. Does not have any definition whatsoever. Actually, I think
a lot
his
of it's
chest
the Tom Holland.
concaves.
It's the Tom Holland effect.
Is he so skinny?
He's a skinny kid. Like it's easy to get abs.
But Tom Holland had
No,
actual
yeah, Tom
six pack.
Holland had earned his place.
Daniel
on-
Radcliffe unfortunately had just a little bit of a line delineating like the midpoint of his
There's
body.
two
That was
little
pretty
nips
much it.
and then
some
a
nips.
line.
But he's adorable.
Yeah.
And that's it for the podcast. Thanks everyone. Good. Let's see. Harry says that, of course, Malfoy is again up in a tree for no reason. Apparently, his kids love to hang out in
What
trees.
the fuck, Malfoy? You creepy
gives-
little shit.
He gives Harry shit. Harry calls him pathetic and just takes him on. But before Malfoy can cast his spell behind his back, Moody intervenes and turns him into a ferret. Just transfigures him into a ferret.
And then forces him into another
Crab's
student's
pants. Now you're gonna tell me I'm over-sexualizing the Harry Potter franchise.
They're doing
when we
it
got
themselves,
ferret on
man.
boy action in this next scene.
Again, we're just saying you keep over-sectionalized our already fucked up comments. You know what I mean?
You got to take it where it goes. You got to take the ball where it goes.
You could just read it.
Professor McGonagall steps in and reprimands Moody. She's like, we don't use transfiguration as a punishment. Moody's like, well, I heard it both ways. Moody makes Harry come with him into a room full of lenses. He takes off his big leg. There's a big ass chest with someone locked in there. And he's like, what's in the chest? He's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine.
No,
he's like,
he says something even better. It's like, you wouldn't believe me if I told
Yeah,
you.
you
And
wouldn't
it's
believe
like,
me if I told you there.
it's so cool.
Hey, Moody, of course, just flat out asks, was like, what are you going to do about the dragon? And then he tells him, he's like, oh shit. No, he's like, listen, everyone else is getting cheat. Like, to be fair, all the other people had like Igor and Maxine. They were all probably helping him out. He's like, I'm gonna help
100%.
you out.
Maxine went back and immediately was like, Floor,
Yeah,
this is what's
dragons.
going on. It's a dragon. You're going to have to hit it in the balls.
And he's like, what?
Their weakness.
He's like, what? You got to play to your strengths. And he's like, what are you good at? And he goes, well, I guess I can fly. And he goes, I'm a good flyer, but I'm not allowed a broom. And he goes, but you are allowed a wand, right? Harry, use your fucking head for once. You can use Accio and just bring the shit to you.
And then for a month in the books, he's trying to learn how to do Accio. And it's so
not in the movie
boring.
though, because it's the next day.
Yeah.
The next day is the first day of the trial. We're at the prep tent, and everyone is nervous as fuck. Hermione, of course, comes check on Harry, and they have this cute scene where they're talking, and just again, a cute little flirt.
Don't do this.
No, I mean, I'm not. It's not sexual, but they do have a little bit of like, it's a little chemistry here. I always thought. Well, I'm like, she clearly cares for him. It could have gone either way. Is all I'm saying. It could go either way here. It's anyone's game.
She should have married Crumb. That's the right person for her. You know what I mean?
Headcanon.
Either way, she gets super nervous for him, then can't contain herself. She busts through the curtain and hugs him right as Rita Skeeter comes in with her photographer. And she's like, young love can't be stopped. I want to use my hands on them both. And you're like, Skeeter,
Then
get
it
the
turns
fuck
into a
out of here, you
musical
creepy.
out of nowhere. It's
You
really weird.
creepy little fuck. Of course, Dumbledore interrupts to get to prep the contestants and is like, what are you doing here, Hermione?
This is
And she's
a-
like, I don't know.
That was a good moment because he does start the speech.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what do you get out of here?
Yeah.
Go on, get it.
They each have to reach into a bag and pull one dragon, and you guys were correct. Harry pulls the Hungarian horntail. Each dragon has been given a golden egg to protect. The egg contains a clue for the next challenge. So if you fail this one, you're pretty much fucked for the rest of the challenges, and you're going to go in fourth into the final challenge if you don't get the egg. We skip ahead, of course, all the other three contestants, and we hear over the loudspeaker the three contestants prior to Harry have done it. Now it's Harry's turn. He walks out and he sees the egg, and he's like, "Cool, it's right there."
Real quick,
Not a big deal.
let's not skip from now on, every time the challenges start, he's like, all right, well, we're counting down 3, 2, and the cannon always goes off
Filch just
early.
fucks up.
Every
Why do
time.
they keep Filch around? That's all I'm saying.
And they turn back to Filch, and he's just like, it's like, I get it, Filch.
doing the best
And
I
also
can.
You
the
guys
wi-
didn't talk about what the, word was.
I've been there.
And also the Weasley twins just taking bets, every single one. It's fucking
yeah.
hilarious. It's a good bit.
Love it. Shit gets real violent real fast because the Hungarian horntail comes at Harry with a fucking massive blast of fireball. Harry, of course, it calls his broom. It takes a second to come in. As it does, he times it perfectly, jumps on the back of it as a fireball would have just basically killed him, roasted him alive. We take off, and the dragon's like, you forget I can fly also?
I can fly and break out of my chain,
breaks his
which I
chain.
guess
So
was
just
unnecessary. And now
snaps it.
everyone here is unsafe.
Yeah, this is
But
the most
that's cool,
unsafe thing.
Hogwarts.
But to be
There's
fair,
a
it'd be
bunch of
awesome
people
if
that
you were
can
watching
handle it.
this, right? This is like be the best sport around.
It would be
hunting men.
awesome for the 10 seconds they're on the actual stage.
Yeah, then you'd be like, wow, it's boring.
And then it's like, I guess we'll just.
I mean, imagine watching a
Wait around.
bullfight, right? But imagine then the bull gets out of the ring.
Yeah, but
Are
you-
people still watching?
you
Like,
had-
are people being like, "This is cool"?
This is when a
Or are
car-
people being
I'll
like,
answer-
I'll
"Oh,
answer your
no."
question with another question. Did we not figure out how to do that in Tokyo Drift with all the cell phones?
He's got a
Also,
point.
more
Remember?
importantly,
Cell phones. You tune in, everyone can see
satellite
it.
footage.
Satellite cell phones.
I mean, I'm not
Dumbledore-
bringing up
Magical
how
cell
they're
phones.
watching. I'm bringing
Yeah,
up
the
their
danger.
safety.
Yeah.
Also, I'll bring
Dumbledore's
up,
there.
to be fair, this doesn't happen in the book. It's all still in the stadium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here they break out. Harry has a scene where he loses control of his broomstick, has to climb on a roof to get it, grabs it right at last minute.
Hogwarts
And then, of course,
is getting fucked.
Hogwarts getting fucked up, but they'll just use the Reparo thing and fix it. Harry, of course,
Reparo.
outsmarts the dragon by flying through the bridge. The dragon's like, I don't know, and then hits the bridge and just tumbles down to his death. We've killed this beautiful magical creature
it's probably
as
fine.
simply and as
Beast and Slade.
stupidly as the first dragon. Actually, the second dragon goes down in Game of Thrones. First one went down pretty hard, but the second one,
It was kind of
just
weird.
easy
It
as
was a
fuck.
weird transition
Well,
because I
they
felt
went
like
down the
it
same way.
slowed down enough
Stab
before
in
it hit
the
that
throat.
bridge.
But you felt like they should have known by the second
Yeah, I know.
one. What's that?
I feel like it slowed down enough before it hit that
It
bridge.
slowed down enough that it should have just ping-ponged off of it. But
Like I thought it was just like gonna poof, like like.
But the directors were like,
and
"We
suddenly
run out
just
of budget."
crashed through and like concussion dead.
A beat, and everyone looks over the horizon and assumes the worst, like Harry's dead.
That's
Of
him
course.
just puttering around.
And then Harry putters back up with the tip of his broom on fire, and it's not doing well. It's like your car's on its one cylinder, and the other 5 have just blown out. But you're gonna get to the finish line, and Harry, of course, crosses the finish
Wow,
line.
you got 6 cylinders in your car.
I got a V6
Whoa.
doggy dog.
Yeah,
I don't know,
you use
V6
a
or
lot of
bus.
gas.
Rocking a V4, yeah.
Oh, I got a Honda.
So do I.
Harry comes up with the right idea. He grabs. Hermione is very, very excited and very, very relieved again, proving once again that she has a little thing for her. But I digress. Harry grabs the egg, and we get a cool match cut here. He grabs it, lifts it up, and he's in the Gryffindor common room that night. And now he's starting to buy into his own bullshit a little bit, which Ron is like, "I was right about you," because he's like, "Who wants me to open the egg?" He goes, "Want me to open the egg?"
Yeah.
I open the egg.
Wasn't it the exact opposite where Ron came out and was like, I was wrong. We'll be friends again.
Ron gives him like a look, and then he opens the egg, and it's ear piercing, and then he shuts it, and then everyone's like, "We're going to bed," and then Ron comes over and he's like, "I'm sorry,
I
you're
thought
right."
he wasn't even out there at this point.
He's been in the corner. He's like,
Oh.
like pouting. It's weird. Of course, Ron apologizes, and he's like, after watching that, you would have to be completely mental to have put your name in that. So I'm sorry. And he's like, that's what I've been saying, man. And then they just go,
But I do love love the biting comments back from Harry.
audio listeners don't watch the show.
I do love Harry biting back there and being like, "Yeah, you just figured this out now." Like
Yeah.
I really like that sort of back and forth they have there.
Just
sort of
friends
telling
with
Ron,
Ron.
"Quit being a fucking moron, dude."
yeah. Hermione has a great line here, too, where they make up, and she's like, boys. You know? She just sees him. She's like, boys are idiots. Sorry, guys. I lost my place here. Shit, I really lost my place. Sorry. The next day, everyone seems to be back on that Potter train, including Cho Chang,
True.
who looks over with him and just gives him the eyes.
Yep.
And he goes, Cho.
He goes, what?
He goes, and like lets shit spit out of his mouth like a fucking idiot. And I'm like, Harry,
I don't think I
you're
watched this
just...
edition.
No,
That's what
didn't
he
yeah,
did.
he smiled and like spilled water
Totally
out.
missed that.
Like an
The
idiot.
same way Greg Miller did one of the first interactions we ever had in this IGN.
Exactly. Ron gets a package from his mother, and they think it's a dress for Ginny. But guess what? Hermione, knowing everything, is like, "That's not a dress. Those are dress robes for the Yule Ball, which will be which is first and foremost a dance." As
And
we
here
learn.
I fucking am watching
Yeah.
this movie, and I'm like, all right, it already starts darker. There's no Dursleys. We're getting a tournament, and there's a high school dance.
Hell yeah, there's a
what
dance.
the fuck? Let's
Yeah.
go.
We get a fun scene with Professor McGonagall teaching them how to dance. She, of course, picks Ron, and there's a great little line where Harry's like, "You're never going to let him forget this, are you?" And they're like, "Nope, no, we're taking this one to his grave." Ron and Harry, of course, or all the boys are embarrassed about this except Neville, who was like, this is my thing.
I got this.
really come
I
my
got this.
herbology, dancing. That's me. Those are my two things.
Parents tortured. Parents tortured
to
the
death,
third
as
one.
well into insanity. There you go.
How long did it take for them to like write that rock song that shitty rock band was playing?
Shit.
We'll get to
rock
that.
band.
We'll get to that because I have a piece of trivia about that.
You're talking about the
Ron,
Wicked Sisters, right?
I'll let you
Excellent.
do it though.
Ron and Harry try to strategize as to how to ask girls out, which is impossible because they're always traveling in packs. And they approach a group of Ravenclaws who fucking stare them down, just dress them down. Like, don't even think about it, bro. Even though Harry Potter, you think you have the pick of the
Yeah,
litter.
Harry Potter, man.
Yeah.
Fix your hair though, but otherwise,
His hair was great. What are you talking about?
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But
good.
love is in
Great
the air,
length.
of course. Hagrid,
talk
we get
about
a
that
fun little
later.
scene with
Yeah.
Hagrid and Madame Maxime. They're clearly falling in love. The girls are all love watching Crumb warm up in a creepily kind of way. They're just kind of following him, and he's just doing weird ass things. But he's only got eyes for Hermione, of course.
Yeah, he does.
This next scene I hate. I just don't like this scene because it's not in the book. I think the scene was in the book, but Snape doing the head hitting thing wasn't in the book. It just seemed weird.
Oh, when he grabs both their heads.
Well, he was like slapping their heads, and I'm like, this is not Snape. Snape wouldn't. Do
Really?
shit
I
like
liked
Oh,
it.
yeah,
I thought it was
I love
endearing.
this.
I liked it. I don't know why.
I thought it went one thing too far.
It's
Where
a little
like I
too
thought
much.
when he like pulled his sleeves up, I was like, he's about to fuck them up, and then he just kind of
Shook him.
just shook them a little.
I liked it. It was cute to me. I don't know.
There,
I
of
also
course,
thought it was cute.
Ron, of course, this is where he asks Hermione on a pity date, and she's like, you know what? Fuck you, dude. Somebody already asked me.
Ron, what the fuck?
What a dick. I hate him so
And
much.
he says, and I quote, he's like, well, it's one thing for a guy to go alone, but if a girl goes alone, it's just pathetic. And she gets pissed. And she's like, for your information, somebody already asked me out. And I said, yes. So piss off, you fucking little redheaded wanker. I added those last couple
No,
lines.
but
I was
she should
pissed
have
for
said
her.
it. She should have said it.
You're a proper wanker, aren't you?
Meanwhile, the whole time, Snape is smacking everyone in the head. I'm like, this is child abuse, clearly. Winter time, ladies and gentlemen. Harry, really procrastinating on this, goes up to the owlry and bumps into the one and only Cho Chang. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a second here. Because I had, in the book, they don't explain this. Obviously, the actress that was cast in this had a different accent than I think J.K. Rowling, Barrett, you can confirm or deny this, had intended. Because when he starts talking to her, and she opens her mouth,
We get
and
it.
a
You love
Scottish
Irish
accent.
accent.
It was Scottish.
Scottish.
Maron. That's all I have to say. Marry me.
I mean, you just don't
Let me go
expect
to the
it.
Green
You know
Gots
what I mean?
vault. Let me get my mom's biggest diamond. Put it on your finger. We get married. Is the relationship going to last? Probably not. We're young. We'll get to 22, 23, realize we made a huge mistake. You keep the diamond, but we'll have all these great times together.
But it's your family's diamond.
Well, I mean,
It's your mom's biggest.
I never knew my mom, so who cares? You know
Good
what
enough,
I mean?
good
Like
enough.
that's on her for dying.
Jesus Christ, she died for him.
Harry
Nick.
musters up the courage to ask her out, but of course it's too late. She's like, "Sorry, Harry. Sorry, Harry." It's a little,
You're getting it.
I get that. She's like, somebody already asked me, but I am really, really sorry, Harry.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I would
all
have liked to have
very
gone with you,
cute,
but you
very
needed to
cute.
be.
You sound like the fucking janitor
I'm
in The
sorry,
Simpsons.
Harry. They've got the shit in. You need to shine and quiet, kid. If you want to get sued. Man,
That's a good moment to
That's
pull.
gonna be my Cho Chang from now on. Harry and Ron make a pact, like, dude, we're getting dates by the end of the day. I swear to God.
But do they get dates? We'll have
We'll
to
never
find
know.
out in just 1 second. Did they get dates, Nick?
Later, Ron, of course, gets dragged back into the common room because he was so desperate and stupid, he actually asked Fleur Delacour to the dance, and she was like, nope. Not only will I never date you, sir, now I will never date and or marry someone from your family. Ever. I'll just not do it. Harry sees the Patel twins and gets a very, very bright idea. He's like, there's twins, two of them, two of us. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Let's make some moves. Hey. Ask them out. And they're like, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Not twins, right? They're just sisters.
I think they're twins.
I think it's twins.
I think
They are twins, but the
different
difference.
actresses
Oh, not identical twins, Tim. There's a difference. They're probably
Fraternal
fraternal
twins.
twins.
in real life.
Have
Not
you,
related
have
at all.
you gotten to the scene in The Office where they're at this wedding and Michael Scott is like talking to a woman trying to like, you know, coax her into like dating him or whatever, and then Dwight comes over, he's like, Michael, twins. And Michael's like, oh my God, really? He's like, I'm sorry, you'll understand, but there's twins. I gotta go. And they go over, and it's just like two bald, like fat dudes sitting down, and Dwight's like, they're glorious, aren't they?
Wait, have you gotten to the one where it starts and it's an Asian dude? It's Randall Parks, isn't it?
It is Randall Park.
Oh, wow.
That's a good one.
Oh, you wait
Damn,
for it, dude.
You wait, man.
You wait.
It's a good show.
You know who doesn't have to wait? Harry, because he and Ron go to meet up with the twins, and Ron just looks ridiculous in his dress robes. Harry sees Cho Chang, who has arrived with the one and only Cedric Diggory, and he just goes like this, Diggory. I mean, his head he did. He was like pissed off. Damn Twilight kids. Just then, Pavarti sees Hermione at the top of the stairs, and she goes, she looks beautiful. And of course, Harry thinks he's still staring at Cho. He's like, she sure does. And everyone's like, dude, get over yourself, man.
Yeah,
like, you
weird.
fucked up. And to be fair, like, Pavarti, cute. Like,
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah,
not a day.
yeah,
Like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Cho, Scottish accent. Okay, goat. You know what I mean? Like, they pretty much just, like, kills it all. But, like, Pavarti, yeah.
No,
I'm
but
just saying.
he's like totally into Hermione here. Like
What? No, he was talking about Cho at that moment.
No,
Oh.
see, she was looking at Hermione. She goes, she
Yeah.
looks beautiful. He's looking at Cho and goes, she sure does. He's not paying Hermione.
Yeah, he doesn't
Oh,
care.
I totally misunderstood that scene.
Yeah.
When Hermione's walking down the
Yeah.
stairs
No,
with the
yeah,
dress
he was
on?
looking at Cho.
Parvati sees him and goes, oh, she looks beautiful,
got
but
it.
he's still staring the other
Furthering the
direction.
point that
I thought he was looking at Hermione
Nothing-
being like, oh my God,
nothing
yeah, she
between
is.
Hermione and him ever on either side.
They line up for the champion processional, and we see Hermione is gone with none other than Victor Crumb, which all the
Hell
girls are like, are you
yes.
fucking kidding me?
Great reveal.
And it's a
Fucking
great
loved it.
reveal.
Suck it, everybody.
The champions get their first dance, and Harry's pretty just bad at this, but everyone, including Neville, is the first to just jump in because he's super into it. Let's see. He can't take his eyes off Cho. Later that night, Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall come in to dance, as is Neville. And Neville's just baller status in this whole thing because guess who he takes with him? Well, Ginny. He was like, "Hey, Ron, what's up? I'm gonna take your little sister for a little stroll." You know what? Good for him. Super tall. She's super short. It works out. Later that night, we get a glimpse of how young wizards really get down when the parents go to sleep because courtesy of the Weird Sisters, a band made
It's
up.
not the Wicked Sisters? No, not
It's
bad.
the Weird
The
Sisters.
Weird
Damn.
Sisters.
Spelt with a Y.
A band evidently made up of, and Tim, maybe that you can fact check me on this, members of Pulp and Radiohead. Not impressed by that, Andy? What does impress you? Okay?
was just a shitty song.
Good Charlotte and another one of their pop punk bands.
Sting.
My Chemical Romance.
All right.
The rock band at the Yule Ball is comprised mostly of members of Pulp and Radiohead. In the run-up to the movie, a Canadian folk group called the Weird Sisters filed a $40 million lawsuit against Warner Brothers. Jarvis Cocker from Pulp and Johnny
Go fuck
Greenwood and
yourself.
Phil
No,
Sellers
I
of
mean, I was
Radiohead
confused.
for the use of their group's name.
Thanks, Cool
in
J.
the book, the band is called the Weird Sisters, weird spelled normally, after the witches in William Shakespeare's Macbeth, but was reportedly renamed the Weird Sisters with a Y
WIRD.
for this film. Before the movie was released,
Why?
however, Warner Brothers removed all references to either names
That
for
was
the
really
band.
confusing.
Of course, Ron and Harry sit out the dancing because they're both just like, damn, we screwed up by taking these twins. And the twins are like, fuck you guys.
Yeah,
like,
it
this
was really
is the
fucked
worst.
up.
You guys are fucked up. You're the worst dates possible. Someone comes up and asks Padma if she'll dance. She's like, hell yeah. I don't even know who you are. I've never seen you before in my life, but we are now together. This is it because I got to get away from this little Ron kid. Hermione comes by and Ron and Hermione get into it. He's clearly jealous. He's like, Crumb is just too old for you and he's just using you. And she fires
He's on the enemy's team and shit. Well,
yeah,
get
he's,
out of here, you
he's
piece
just
of
using
shit.
you. It's like mind control. He can't possibly love you. And of course, she fires back. She's like, listen, motherfucker, the next time there's a dance, pluck up the courage and ask me yourself, and not as a last resort. And then she goes, and off to bed with the both of you. Just straight up sends them to bed.
Yeah.
And they listen.
They were already going that way. I
No, they
think,
listen.
right?
They're like, she wants us to go to bed. We're going to go to bed. 'Cause she's smarter
Also,
than us.
Ron, like the idiot he is just like, well, this has nothing to do with that.
He's
What
like,
are you-
women,
What
they're
is
just
that coming
crazy.
from?
Girls are
What is
crazy.
she talking about?
And she's like,
Sucks.
fuck you, Ron. You ruined everything.
Uh,
And she cries in the stairwell. Not a good scene for her.
and then she goes and makes out with what's his face.
Oh, do you think she went immediately to Victor and was like, tonight's the night? I am.
We know for a fact that's not what happened.
It's like the casino
would
night in
kiss
the
you.
office.
It was
Blame
over
it.
the
They're too
over
young to be
summer.
doing
Over
anything
summer
else.
they kissed for the first time, but that's
That night, Harry has another nightmare back in the cemetery. This time, we go back to the little statue that's covered with snow, so we know it's this season. Then we see Barty Crouch with a dark mark on his arm. Baby V tries to kill Harry one more time, and then Harry wakes
the
up.
Funky punch, dude.
Baby V and the funky punch. Someone make that shirt immediately. Harry wakes up to Neville, who just got in. He's super excited about it. He's like, man, this is like the first good night of my entire life. And Harry, like the self-absorbed asshole that he is, just was like, good for you, dude. I'm dreaming about people killing me.
I feel like
We
he
all
did
have
it in
problems.
like a good spirited way. Like, good for you, dude. I hope you and Ginny make it.
Nah.
Well, we'll see about that. Harry and Hermione next day are on the bridge. She chides him for not having figured out the egg yet. She's like, I thought you told me you figured that out months ago. He's like, dude, I'm dumb, okay?
I was lying.
Without you, I'm dumb. She tells Harry that Victor, he's like, how's it going with Victor? She's like, yeah, he's more of a physical guy. I'm more of a thinker. He's more of just like but he's got a hard body.
You
Picks
start,
me
you
up
start
and
getting the sort of vibes of Harry being like, so what's up? And her being
No,
like,
not at all.
No. I mean like the vibes of like, hey, so this Victor guy must be
okay,
great, and her
yeah.
being like, these are great, but
It's it's
Oh,
our thing.
I got the total opposite where she was like, yeah, we don't really talk. We're doing other shit. You know what I'm saying?
I got both. But you do get the vibe that she's like, he's not stimulated.
Yeah,
enough
he's
from
kind of
mentally.
stupid.
He's kind of an idiot.
But whatever.
But he's got a
and
good body.
Ron's
So
any better?
Yeah, I mean, they're all dumb. Yeah.
again, they're all stupid.
He should have. She should have married Victor.
Let's see. Of course, that's when Cedric Diggory comes in to interrupt, and he gives Harry the most cryptically stupid message possible. I'm like, dude, just even it out for me. What does it say? Mer people. Great. Well, I told you. I didn't tell you the things in the sky come up to eat you. Figure it the fuck out. I told you dragons. One word. You could have told me mer people.
I'll be like, oh,
Done.
shit.
Hey,
Yeah.
but don't even fuck with the egg. Mer people. 1 hour. That's it. But then we wouldn't get a cool scene, which we do next. He tells him to go up to, he's like, I hear the prefect's bathroom is a cool place to take a bath. You're not allowed up there. You're probably going to get in trouble. But get up there, take all your clothes off, and let old Morning Myrtle look at your junk trap. He gets up there.
What a weird, vulnerable thing to go do, by
It's
the
very
way.
weird.
Like, just go take a bath in a place where, like, anybody could walk in it anymore.
We're not
Weird.
supposed
Well,
to.
not
be.
anybody.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
the prefix.
Harry, of course,
But I
follows
guess he
suit.
got in somehow.
Now, I will say this. The bath looks cool because it pours out colored water, which is a fun little production trick. Harry runs the bath and is like, I don't know what's going on. He opens the thing. It's still yelling at him. Morning Myrtle's like, you're an idiot. Just do what the other kid did. Put it under the water and dip your head under there and you'll hear it.
And let me see your biz.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
So much better than your Snape.
Sucks.
You got it. Like,
Hey.
you nailed it.
Expelliarmus.
You got worse again. No, I feel like you were doing better in the start of the episode. You were
Mr.
another one.
Potter.
Well.
I love the idea of the sirens and the mer people in underwater shit. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah,
that's
that's
actually
rad.
a cool way to unlock that clue.
Now, fun little trick here, though. He listens to it, and it says, come seek us where our voices sound. We cannot sing above the ground, and now alone you'll have to look to recover what we took. But there are, in fact, more lines to that. And we hear one of them in the following scenes because it actually outlined that you only have an hour.
No, in that, I think you just messed up one of the lines you read there. In the thing, it says an hour long you have to look to recover what we took. So I
My
think you just
apologies. You're right.
misheard that.
You are correct. Look it up, though, because I think it's longer than that. I think it was like 3 or 4 more lines in the book. Doesn't matter. You're right. Figures out there's mer. He's like, is there mer people in the lake? And she's like, yeah, dude, you figured it out. What are we gonna do now? Take a little load off? Take a little load off. You want a little stress relief? A little stress
And,
relief?
and the thing is, you're not pushing this sexual joke. This is very clear that
No, she's in it.
she like,
She's a 40-year-old woman.
she makes
who
no
has
bones
needs.
about it, dude. She's like a middle-aged MILF. She
Yeah. So, but an hour's passed. The prospect's black. Too late. It's gone. It won't come back. So there was a couple more lines in this in the book than there was there, but not needed. Let's see. Okay. So Harry's then, of course, in the library trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. The thing's like in like an hour and a half or whatever, and Harry's just like, I'm dead. He's strategizing with Hermione. Moody comes over to interrupt them, tells Hermione to go to bed, and then he calls Neville over. He's like, I want you to help Harry put his books away. And Neville starts talking about plants and shit, and Harry's like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna die tomorrow. There's mer people.
Unless you have a
and
plant.
you assume they look like the Little Mermaid, and they don't.
No.
They're scary as fuck.
Scary?
They're terrifying creatures that
Yeah,
we
you
let
don't
just
wanna
live
fuck
out there.
them.
They should be exterminated with fucking extreme prejudice.
That
All
seems
I'm
like
saying.
some-
Burn the lake with fire.
Some Voldemort shit
They're
is all I'm
terrifying.
saying.
Of course, he's like, listen, dude, I don't care. Unless you know of a Tibetan turnip that will help me breathe underwater, I'm fucked. And Neville's like, I don't know about Tibetan turnips, but gillyweed should do the trick. And he's like, genius. What's gillyweed? How do we get it? The second task is on, and Ron and Hermione are nowhere to be found. He's like, my friends suck. Dumbledore sets the stakes. Something's been stolen from you. You got 1 hour to get it back. Moody's like, put that gillyweed in your mouth, man. What the fuck are you doing? And then
How long between the water, the mermaid shit, and the dragon shit went by?
months.
Yeah, it was months.
It's a whole school year.
Yeah,
it's-
Because they're still
yeah.
studying their school. and
It's like
shit.
the end of the semester things.
It
but
just
this-
seems like it should be a track meet, like all
Yeah,
in one weekend.
Like,
Well, no, you gotta imagine you need
Well, you have
time
to
to
figure
recover.
out. Yeah, you have to figure
Figure it
recovery. You have to figure out the
out.
clues. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's meant to test like all your aspects of being a wizard.
The underwater scenes were shot in a huge tank with a blue screen background.
That's not what we're
Divers
asking, Tim.
were on hand with air tanks to allow the actors to stay submerged for long periods of time.
Good job, Tim.
Daniel Radcliffe alone logged nearly 42 minutes underwater.
Good for him.
The whole time,
good
just
for
hold
him.
his breath. It's
No,
incredible.
they had dudes
Gilly
come
Bean, that
down
works.
with
Like,
air.
give 'em,
No,
like,
yeah, I know.
there.
We got that from what you
So
just
do,
said. I was making a joke.
So Durmstrang and Bo Batten, do they all stay there at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They stay at school.
Learning.
Well, they live in there. They're like boat
Yeah.
and carriage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
they
the-
learn.
They're
and
much
it's
bigger
just-
inside.
really
and
inconvenient.
because of the rules, it's only like you can only be 17 or older, so it's only the 7th years. So you have to imagine like the rest of the school is
Got
still
it,
back
stayed
at the
behind.
castle.
Except for
yeah.
her sister, right?
Yeah.
I think the sister wasn't
Gabrielle
old
She was
enough
her
Enough
plus
to-
one. She got.
Yeah, like she wasn't old enough to be in school yet, I think was the thing.
Oh, so they just
she
stole
was
it out
just
of her
like-
crib? Awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like the momentum of this whole thing would have like months later, like, oh, so who won that thing? Oh, it's still going actually. Like, oh, fuck. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
well,
I
it's like
don't
if
really
the
care.
World Cup went on for like 8 months. Like,
Yeah, I don't really care anymore.
Of course, Moody makes him swallow the gillyweed and then throws his ass into the water. Harry chokes at first and then grows some gills, and everyone's like, shit. And then Neville's like, shit, I killed Harry Potter. And then Harry flies out of the water, just like that scene from Hunt for October, where they're like, they bridge out of the water, and the guy's watching on the boat. He goes, the captain's chasing him out of the water. It's awesome. Great scene. You guys should watch that movie.
I am the captain now.
I am the captain now. Harry heads down into the abyss where he sees the mer people and they start kind of fucking with him a little bit. And then he sees Fleur, and I'm not quite sure what happens to Fleur because I took my eyes off the screen for 1 second, but apparently she freaked out and went back up at this point.
The Grandulos like took her over. Like she couldn't deal with the Grandulos.
What's a Grandulos?
It's those like little weird things that like all come after Harry when Harry's
know
I
like,
thought those are the mer people.
No.
the little
mer
tiny
people are
things are
monsters.
Grandulos.
The mer people are the women with the spears.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
I
look
thought
like
they were all the same.
like Ariel mixed with Aquaman.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
the
the squid people are different. Those are the ones that should be killed with extreme
the
fire.
little tiny things. They reminded me of they reminded me of the aliens in Galaxy Quest. The little tiny.
yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
or the
They
cute,
have the
the
teeth?
cute alien in Men in
And they
Black
all-
where it's like, it's cute, and then it spits on him. He goes, he spits it out
Oh,
of his
yeah, with
mouth.
the octopus head. You guys are spot on, both
Yeah,
of
we
you.
were crushing this.
Fucking guys, all right, get out of here.
Harry comes. It comes to where. Let's see. Oh, Harry comes over a little bend and sees finally what they have stolen from him, and it is Ron. They've stolen Ron from him. Why they didn't steal Hermione from him is, I guess, telling. Maybe they still have
they
Crumb.
had to only, yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
that's the only thing Crumb cared about.
That's true. Either that, or maybe they could have stolen his abs. He's got to get those back. That's all he's got. Let's see. He sees Cho. He sees a little girl that we don't know who she is, but we assume she's Fleur's sister. Harry releases Ron as Cedric comes up and grabs Cho, and then he goes, "Hey, man, time. Get up there." Bounces out. Right, he looks over to go release Hermione, and the mer people stop him, and they're like, "No, only one." And he's like, "Why? I can't fucking take them both. Like, I'll be baller status." And like, "Wah!" And he's like, "All right, fuck it." And then Crumb comes out with a shark head, which is awesome. Bites the rope and pulls Hermione up. And then as Harry starts going up, he looks over and he sees the Gabriella rather has not been saved, and he's like, "Well, someone's got to save her. Fuck these mer people again. Maybe Nick's right. Kill them all. Burn them all. Right." Cuts her loose, does a cool little explode, whatever the hell Ron thing. Cuts her loose, starts floating up, and as he gets about, we'll call it 10 meters maybe from the surface.
Yeah.
The squid things start attacking him, and he lets Ron and Gabrielle float up, and they float up, and they wake up like, what the fuck happened? And then he starts getting dragged down, and he goes, and
He's losing his powers too.
he's losing his powers too because the gillyweed's starting to wear off, and he just blasts those things into eternity.
He did
And they're like,
stupefy thing.
Stupefy, that's what it was.
And
It is stupefy. And they all went, ooh. And it's like,
I
for
like
mer
that.
people, apparently it just gets you high as fuck. Because they're like, oh,
like
we're going to go party. It is like catnip. Harry, of course, then goes, what was it, Axio or Asensio or whatever the hell it is? I got it written down. I should
Asensio.
just read my
No.
stupid.
Ascendio.
Ascendio.
That's it.
And
Another
pops out
thing
of the
where it's
water.
like, hey, Hogwarts, all right, not only are we going to put a lot of our students in danger, part of the goal of the second game is going to be putting even more students in danger. And if you don't save them, they dead.
Now,
But that's not the case.
they clarify.
They aren't. Yeah.
They don't clarify in the movie, but in the book, that it's like they were never really in danger.
Yeah,
They would
the other kids weren't. They
But
were
like-
like,
When they come out,
Great they made that clear.
yeah.
when they come out in the books, they're like, "Wait, why'd you save her?" And he's like, "Well, she was gonna die." And it's like, "Oh no one was
Yeah.
in danger."
Yeah,
But of
they
course,
weren't actually in danger.
fine.
none of the people competing knew that. So like
So
Fleur
it was
in
real
the
to
book
them.
is still like, oh my god, you saved
Still
her
really
and
me,
shit.
damn it.
Of course, in this, you have to assume in this that they haven't explained this to Fleur either because she's like, you saved my little sister. I'm going to give you a sweet little double kiss. And then gives a double kiss to Ron. And Ron's like, yeah, I did some shit too. I didn't do anything, but Ron is into it. Cedric won, but Harry gets second place.
What does he say when she gets kissed?
Is it, ooh la la,
He's
Cisco
like,
Ba.
something like that. He's like,
Mercy or something like that.
oh, merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Like, why does she look so stupid, dude?
God bless
So
him.
good at everyone, but
You're
Snape,
great. Give me a
like,
pot
you're
and give me
wrong,
Mr.
man.
Panta. Mr.
He's got
Panta.
that weird, over a bit. Expelliarmus.
Expelliarmus. Harry gets second, of course, for outstanding moral fiber, which is weird. Like, can Dumbledore make up the rules here? I don't know.
Oh, man.
No, because he's not the only judge. A bunch
all
of
decide.
judges in the book decide on this.
Okay.
Like Barty Crouch Senior, or no, someone else who Barty Crouch Senior isn't at this event in the book and stuff. So
He's
there's
missing.
a whole panel
Oh, that's
that
right.
decides on this. It's not just Dumbledore.
It's a bunch of Gryffindors.
Crouch, of course, pulls him aside to congratulate him, and they go for a little bit of walk together. And he empathizes with Harry. He's like, to lose one's family is a sad thing, and he's like, I've lost some people too. Moody, of course, stops to talk immediately shit to him, and then does this little weird thing with his tongue with it. And only Barty sees it, and Barty's like, what the fuck? Cause my kid used to do that. And then he went, just instead of immediately being like, wait, who are you? I'm very powerful. He walks off into the forest.
Yeah, I gotta
And that's
go.
the last
I gotta
time we've
go.
seen him. Cut 2, of course, Hagrid walks with Harry and Ron, and they celebrate his achievement. Like, this is pretty cool, man. You might actually come out of this alive. Maybe win this thing. And Harry's like, cool. And then, of course, Harry comes across Crouch's dead body. And is like, God damn it. Can I have one day with this shit? No other kids have to discover dead bodies. Why am I the only one?
It's true.
Always me. Getting fucking attacked by giant spiders and flying cars and shit.
I think the flying car helped.
It's true. But then the flying car went to a car party and they didn't invite Harry. And it was like, fuck off. You know what I mean? Harry's called to Dumbledore's office where Dumbledore is trying to convince Cornelius Fudge to cancel the tournament. And they have a great little back and forth here where Fudge is like, it's in times like these the wizarding community looks to its leaders for strength. And Dumbledore goes, then for once, show them some.
Sick.
He goes, one does
burn.
what's right no matter what. He's like, basically, like, you got to do what's right no matter what others think. That's a real leader. And Fudge is like, well, I'm not. I'm a politician. Moody interrupts to say that the conversation is no longer between just them because Harry's back there, but his eye can see through the wall, which is cool. He's like, he's a
cool
little
eye.
mechanical, like, witch eye. Dumbledore walks Cornelius Fudge out, leaving Harry, and tells him he can have a little licorice snap, but be careful, they bite, which I thought was fun. Harry, of course, tries to eat one, and then they start biting him, and he starts stomping.
Just so everyone knows, Nick winked at me when he said that.
You know what I mean? Let's see, accidentally falls into toward the pensieve, and he looks down into it, which looks a lot like where they used to dispense the holy water at my Catholic church.
Yep.
Looks down into it and gets sucked into one of Dumbledore's memories. He is at a tribunal where they're hearing the testimony from Igor Karkaroff, who was a convicted Death Eater, and they're like, basically, if you give us some names, we'll let you go, or we'll let you off with a warning, I guess, because maybe you weren't that bad of a Death Eater. And he starts giving them names like, well, that dude's dead, and we already have the other guy's name. And Moody's like, yeah, I know that motherfucker. He took a piece of me, but I took more of him with me. The next name he brings up, of course, is Snape, to which Dumbledore immediately defends. He's like, we knew he was a double agent. He was a Death Eater, but he turned good. He did good for us, so he's a double agent, so he's off the table. We're not touching him. Finally, there's one name he can give him, because he doesn't want to go back to Azkaban because it's terrifying there. He gives him the final name, which he's the guy responsible for torturing the Auror Frank Longbottom, Neville's dad, by means of the Crucius Curse. Is none other Cruciatus Curse is none other than Barty Crouch Jr. And of course, Barty Crouch Jr. is already trying to sneak the fuck out. He's like, he's gonna call me out.
Sneaky snake boy.
And they all stop him, and his dad's just like, oh, this totally sucks. This is no good.
I feel like it would have been a lot better if he didn't start walking out and fight everyone. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If he had just been chilling there and been like, what? This shit makes no sense.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm not
do that.
evil.
Yeah.
Of course, he
Really
does the
quick,
tongue thing, and that's when we know he's moody.
Tim, how did you feel about that Snape reveal? Because I feel like there's a really big reveal in the series, and they just kind of gloss over it, of like Snape was once a Death Eater.
But I mean, you could tell, right?
Dude, it's not that I thought this was another one of those scenes. I'm like, this is fucking cool. Like
Right.
the Neville Longbottom dad drop in, like all this stuff, like the way that they're building
Mom.
this. I'm like, this is
What's
rad.
awesome, and this is what I love about the series, is that the characters that you originally thought, you're like, oh, Longbottom, he's just gonna be this jokey kid. So it's getting fleshed out, and you start learning his backstory. You're like, damn,
then it
he's
gets
fucking
hot.
tragic.
Yeah.
And then it gets hot long.
It is. It's just such a disappointment then when there's like other characters. I'm like, it could have been better if it was you. Like Cedric in this movie, I feel like should have been in the other movies. In some
yeah.
way.
He
They
they
would have had a little bit
introduced him
more.
in like Azkaban and stuff like that. So there's a little bit.
Oh,
more,
was he?
Only a little bit, but
Okay. I mean,
they-
I think just anything would have helped. Like, just he's introduced
Yeah.
and now he's dead.
yeah.
Of course, Harry sees like there's a little tongue
Future
thing.
spoilers, Tim.
He does little tongue things. You're like, oh, he's doing the tongue thing too. That's weird. Moody does the tongue thing. Moody's also drinking this thing. We've already alluded to some making Polyjuice Potion because Myrtle was like, I thought I saw some Polyjuice Potion in the thing. You think Harry would have put two and two together?
No,
but without
well,
Hermione, he can't
you
use his
s-
fucking brain.
You skip the scene where Snape takes
Snape
him
is like, "What's up,
aside
dog?"
and is like,
That's
yo, what's
after
up,
this.
dog?
We
That's
haven't
right after
gotten
this.
there yet.
Oh, was it? Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
He comes out of the dream to find Dumbledore watching him, and Dumbledore explains what the pensieve is. He says, "It's a place where you can store your memories in case your mind is stretched a bit thinly, like mine is these days." Dumbledore is trying to figure out what all this madness is as of late, and Harry asks about Barty Crouch Jr., and he goes, he was sent to Azkaban. Harry tells Dumbledore about the dream he had about Barty Crouch Jr., and Dumbledore tells him it's unwise to linger on these dreams. Best if you just simply cast them away, which is terrible advice. Because it's like, no, dude, well, you had a dream. Like last time I had was seeing shit. Like I didn't tell you. You told me to tell you. I'm telling you now. You're useless. Dumbledore making the wrong decisions here. Of course, Harry catches Igor and Snape comparing Death Eater tattoos, and he's like, "It's happening again. You know what that means?" And Snape is like, "Get the fuck out of here, man. Okay, get out of here." And looks over at Harry and brings it back in. He's like, "Congratulations on the Gillyweed thing, but why are you stealing my shit?" Accuses him of stealing stuff. Harry's like, "I didn't steal anything." He goes, "I'm gonna find out you stole some stuff, and then I'm gonna fuck you up." Mm-hmm. The third and final trial is on, ladies and gentlemen. It's a giant maze, a bush maze.
Don't
What do
they
call these
introduce
things?
the truth serum here?
Oh, he does. I
Veritism?
apologize. Yes, he was like, he's like, "Do you know what this
Veritaserum.
is? What is it?"
Veritaserum.
Veritaserum. If a couple drops of this might slip into your drink. All of a sudden,
backwards.
And even
all of a sudden,
it's not. He's fucking.
it is. I am truth.
No, in Spanish.
Lord Truth.
I am Lord Voldemort.
The third and final trial is a giant, huge maze that is vast and scary as shit. Since Harry and Cedric are tied for first, not sure how that math works out. They can enter, followed by Crumb and then Floor. If at any point a contestant wishes to exit, you feel like
Harry beat the dragon in the quickest time, right?
Did he?
I think so.
Is that what it was?
I think they talk about that in the book, not the movie.
Well, yeah, but he was just asking how he
Yeah.
tied for first, and that's
Yeah.
how.
I just don't know how the points ranked up because Harry got second in the last one, and we don't know who scored first in the first one, so that makes more sense. Since they got first, they get to go on first. If any the contestants at any point wish to exit, they need only send up red smoke, and one of the professors patrolling the perimeter will fuck up the maze and come and get you.
So, what happened to Floor? Because it looked like she got eaten by the plants. But then
Oh,
she
no,
was
no.
okay.
She remember she was fine. We saw her. Oh.
So she did. Harry broke her free and then popped red smoke for her on her behalf, and then ran. Which you think would be like the maze would be like, no, Harry did it,
Harry
but
did it.
Harry did it
No,
on
it's
her
fine.
behalf.
Yeah.
Popped red smoke and then the maze closed in. So basically, the maze. Once you do that, presumably either the maze or the professors blow that part out and come and get you and save you, and then the rest of it follows back behind.
I just thought it was so weird that it's like, all right, you're going to get face off against dragons, then you might drown. But then,
this one makes you go crazy.
But yeah.
It changes you.
But that's
You start
not.
going nuts.
We'll talk about it in a little bit of
Yeah.
what they changed from the maze.
I love the sound design in this scene because you hear bam, ba-da-da, ba-da-da, bam, 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 and then it closes behind him and it's quiet.
yeah.
You don't hear the band anymore, even though you should hear the band through the bushes, but that's the magic of this thing. And it pulls out and it's just fucking vast. And you have to imagine they were in that thing for
Enormous.
hours.
It's horrifying.
Trying to figure out how to get through there. And that's when you start losing your shit. And of course, the maze does things to you. It's got other properties. Of course, we already talked about Fleur getting sucked in, and Harry goes to help her. Crumb comes by and points the wand at him, and he's got white eyes. He's clearly gone crazy. Harry continues back, and it turns out this maze was in fact the inspiration for the game Fortnite, because if too much time goes by, the maze just starts closing in on you, and you have to run. And as he runs back, he runs right in smack dab into the middle of Cedric and Crumb fighting each other. Crumb has lost his shit. Cedric takes his wand out, or disarms him rather, and then he's about to kill him because he's going a little crazy too. And Harry's like, "Stop! Look at his eyes. He's gone crazy." And he's like,
He's bewitched. He's bewitched.
Which would be great if we knew what that meant, you know.
Well,
in
it's
the last
Bewitched.
3 movies we
Come
watched.
on, he's bewitched.
Why
You
are
can
you so
extrapolate.
mad all of a sudden?
It's not
Yeah,
bad. It's just
You
like
like
this scene.
the movie.
I do, but this scene just like it
It was
sucks.
the,
It's
it
so
was the
far
Imperium's
apart.
curse.
But like again, like they haven't. I understand you, Tim. Of like they haven't built the idea of bewitching other people
At all.
in these movies. But again, they explain some of it. And
He just looks like an old
Went
blind
crazy.
dog.
Extrapolate. They both spot the cup ahead of them, and Cedric gets. They start running at each other, or running with each other. Cedric gets caught up by the maze and starts to get dragged under.
And
He
like
calls out to
yelling.
Harry for help, and Harry has a moment where he's like, all right. And I'm just like, I say let the Hufflepuff die, personally speaking. I'm like, we don't need more Hufflepuffs.
Shoot up the
on this
flares.
planet.
They'll
Shoot up the
figure
red
it out,
flare.
you
They'll
know?
figure it out. Bada
But
bing, bada
instead he
boom.
cuts them loose
But
and
instead
kills
he's got to
them.
be a fucking hero, uses Reducto and blasts Cedric free. And then he's like, for a moment there, I thought you were going to let me go. And he's like, for a moment there, I thought I was too. I was going to let you die. Suddenly, the maze begins closing in on them once again, and they dash toward the cup. And just because they're homies, and it's like Hogwarts for everything, Hogwarts for life, you know what I mean? They're like, let's grab it together. Let's both win this thing together. We'll both get in the papers together. We'll both be sexy. I'll be a little taller. And he's like, great, let's do it.
Yeah, it's like in the Olympics when someone like tears their ACL and then they go back for them, and then it like makes like a viral video on Twitter where like they're the
cry.
healthy person,
And I cry.
Yeah, it's a good
They
video.
go back, two people get
Yeah,
him.
there's been videos of like people getting hurt and they're like about to finish and they're on the ground, and then like the person that was about to win comes back and like lifts them and they all run together. Yeah, and as soon as they get to the finish line, pushes them down.
Just trips them. Just judo trips them. Of course, the second they touch that damn thing, it is a port key and it transports them over to that same graveyard Harry has been dreaming about. He doesn't realize it at first until he looks up and reads the gravestone and realizes that it's Thomas Riddle's gravestone. And he looks around, he's like, shit, I've seen this before. We gotta get the fuck out of here
dude.
right now. And of course, who should come out? None other than Baby V and the Funky Bunch, at least half of them, held by Wormtail. And he's this decrepit little thing. He's like, kill the spare. And Harry's like, run, dude. This is fucking Baby V. But he's still powerful.
The weirdest thing is that like
Kill the spare.
I forgot Ray Fiennes was in this movie. Because I just like forgot the end of this for some reason. But when it's Baby V and it's voiceover, my initial thought was like, oh, that's not Ray Fiennes. I get it. They didn't bring him in for this movie.
Yeah.
Until like he actually popped out. I was like, oh, that was Ray Fiennes' voice. Why did it sound so different than the actual
So his name's Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes, sorry.
It's spelled Ralph, but it's pronounced Rafe.
Really? Rafe.
Ray.
Oh, I was saying Ray because I thought you said Ray earlier. My bad.
Ray.
I don't know why. It's just one of the. Remember when we did that pronunciation thing?
Yeah.
A long time ago. He was one of the names on it.
Interesting.
Whoa.
But it's spelled Ralph.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally
And
right.
Fiennes is spelled Fiennes.
Yeah, they're weird. The Brits do everything all weird over there across the pond. Wormtail uses the Avada Kedavra curse and just nukes Cedric, and it's like it's especially sad because of how just insignificant he did it.
It's like unceremonious.
Yeah, it's totally unceremonious. Harry just looks down and he's fucking dead. There's no saving him. And when you read that in your book, you're like, what?
Yeah, and
Like I had to go back and read it again.
one of the things that I don't like about this is that it like blasts him back. When you get Avada Kedavra in the book, you just fall.
Drop.
And like I feel like that would have been more significant and scary to see that in the
But I
movie.
feel like the way he drops is perfect to like, he just looks like all of a sudden he was dead.
Yep.
Wormtail then pins Harry to the Grim Reaper statue and then dumps Baby V right into the cauldron with that scene that Andy loves. It's Andy's favorite. He pulls a bone from Thomas Riddle's grave, Thomas C. Riddle Sr.'s grave, cuts his own hand off, and then draws blood
Dude.
from Harry's arm.
Not only does he do all that stuff, he's saying it all like all the
Yeah.
like you need the bone from the this and the this and the that.
Unwillingly given.
And the fucking
taken.
what was what were the phrase there?
Are you talking about the
Just
whole
for the
thing?
Harry
His
bit.
bone.
Blood of the father,
No,
unwilling.
blood from the enemy forcibly taken.
What?
Yeah.
Also, I love that it was like he cut his whole hand off
Yeah.
and just a little sliver of blood, like tiny little cut for
That's all
Harry.
he needed, man. It was Harry.
It was a
blood.
good gash, man.
And
The Dark Lord.
And with that, the Dark Lord shall rise again. And this scene is
And beat me in Nidhogg, too.
Because he the cauldron turns into him. The whole
Yeah.
thing just morphs
Yeah.
into him.
That was really rad.
And finally we
I love
see
that
him.
he comes
and he
up.
does the
And it like just kind of like goes from just being this like weird Matrix placenta shit into like turning into a human form. It looks so cool.
smooth as a baby
The cauldron
snake,
turns
man.
into smoke and then turns
Yep.
into his cloak, and
And
it's
like,
just like
the weird screaming that's happening at the same time. It's
I
fucking
love
creepy.
it. And of course,
was that Harry screaming?
No, that was like the spell happening at that time.
first thing, of course, he asks for is his wand, and Wormtail obliges and gives him that dope ass bone like claw wand that he's got. I don't know. We gotta look at it. And he's like, "Give me your arm." And Wormtail's like, "Yay!" He's like, "No, motherfucker, the other arm. I don't give a shit about the one you just cut off." And he taps the Death Eater tattoo, which, by the way, Tim, if you don't know, is how you call the Death Eaters to
Yeah.
you. And
You
then they
tap
all,
it and it
Did not- they have
burns
no
everyone
choice.
else.
They have to come.
Holy shit.
No, they don't have to come. They have a choice.
I think they have to come.
No, Snape doesn't
no,
come.
they don't because
I
neither
would-
Snape
Oh,
or
that's right,
Parker.
that's right.
They feel
But
it
it burns.
burns, and like that is the signal. Like you have to come
The
right
bat signal.
Yeah. And they all
So
just
sick.
yeah, and the
Get
way
one of
they
those,
appear is
dude.
awesome. It's
You want everybody to get
Just people I care about.
a Death
I've
Eater
never asked
tattoo.
you.
You've always told Cool Greg, I guess.
And,
That's all
you
I
know,
always say.
Never
for a
asked you,
guy
not
that's
once.
been gone for 13 years, you feel like he's like, "Hey, everyone, good to see you." No, he's like, "I'm just fucking disappointed in all of you. 13 years I've been gone, and not one of you looked for me."
And now, yeah, here's the thing, you guys. I know that it might be the most obvious thing to everybody, and it should have been obvious to me. But when they're fucking there, and there's all these guys around them, and they're like, crab, blah, 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 Goyle, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, no, they are not. And Malfoy, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck? Is
yeah.
those motherfuckers
Oh,
the dads?
yeah. Death
What?
Eaters, baby.
Dude, and he pulls Malfoy's mask off.
Oh, my God.
Like
dude.
using magic.
And
Yeah.
he goes,
I tried.
And he
No,
looks
you
at Harry
didn't.
and he's like, huh.
I was like marking out, man. Like it was so stupid. I should have fucking known it.
Hell yeah.
How obvious was
But
that?
how good was
but
it?
man, it was real cool.
Of course, Wormtail's like, "Dude, I returned for you." He's like, "Out of fear, dude, not loyalty." Like we all know, but you know, you have been useful, so I'm gonna give you a dope ass liquid metal hand, like the T1000 from T2, which is a movie we're gonna watch in this series later this year.
in this exact scene.
And then of course Voldemort's like, "Oh, what's up, Harry? You're
What's
still
up,
here, huh?
Harry?"
How you doing, buddy?"
Another great line. Oh, I nearly forgot you were still here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nearly.
The boy who lived is what he calls him. Shall I reveal what really happened that night when I lost my powers? He's like, "It wasn't you, motherfucker. It was love." He was like, "Your mother loved you, and when Lily Potter gave her life for her son, she provided the ultimate protection. It was old magic, something I should have foreseen." But he's like, "But don't worry about that now, Harry, because I can touch you now." And as he gets closer, Harry's scar starts burning. He touches his forehead, and as Harry starts screaming, he starts screaming too. He's like, "Ah!" And it's fucking scary as shit.
It's so funny because
super
like
freaky.
I loved this scene. It was so rad, but there's something about you reenacting it that takes all of it away from it. It reminds
I'm
me of
nailing
like,
it.
have you guys seen the Star Wars robot chicken stuff with
Yeah.
the Emperor?
Yeah.
Nick's turning Voldemort into that.
I'll take it. I think he was in one of those. He lets Harry loose. Oh no, he was in the Lego movie. That's what he was, wasn't he? At some point, wasn't Voldemort? He lets Harry loose. He's like, "Come on, Harry, pick up your wand. Time to duel." Just like we were in school. He makes
So
Harry
scary.
And then he uses the curse and he makes him bow. Like he's like torturing him and he makes him bow. He's just totally fucking with him. Harry tries to use Expelliarmus but fails. And he's like, "Come on, what are you doing, dude? Don't bring that fucking child's play shit here." After tonight, when people speak of you, they'll speak of only how you begged for death, and I, being a merciful lord, obliged. And he's just like talking all sorts of shit. Also, I'm gonna take a step back here. He's talking shit, but his boys are behind him. You know what I mean? It's like we're gonna fight you, but it's like I'm not gonna fight you. You got your boys behind you.
No,
like
it was-
if I beat you down, Lucius gonna come out and beat all these guys
At one
down.
point during the fight, one of them in the background, you can hear him be like,
He's
"Oh,
like, I got him.
like-
He's like, "No, motherfucker, I got him." Yeah,
yeah," and he's like, "No one else, just us two,"
Yeah.
because he has to prove something.
that's true.
This is the boy that lived.
Of course, Harry. Harry runs and hides as Voldemort when Voldemort takes his attention off him, and he goes, "Don't turn your back on me. I want to look at you while I kill you. I want to see the light leave your eyes." And this is the point where Harry's like, "You know what? Fuck it.
I've got nothing else to
Dude,
lose
I got
right
nothing
now.
else to
At
lose."
this moment, I was like, "Oh, shit. I
shit.
forgot." Like, this kid has fucking courage.
He's got balls.
Because, like, you see it, where he's just like, "Fuck it.
Fuck it.
I'm not gonna go down hiding. I'm
Walks
gonna
out.
get up and fucking do a stupid little thing to fight back."
No, walks out before he does that, and he looks at him and he goes, "Have it your way." It's just like a baller ass thing to say to someone who's is gonna kill you. 99.9% chance you're getting nuked this next scene. And they square off. Harry uses Expelliarmus. Voldemort uses Avada Kedavra, and the streams get crossed, and literal white hot lava spits out of them. And I'll tell you this though, like Harry holds his own here. It goes like a little bit that way, and to the point where, to Kevin's point earlier, the followers are like, "Yo, shit, dog, you want us to jump in?" He's like, "No, man, I got this. Like, nobody touches this kid but me. I got shit to prove here." But Harry's like, "I almost got this." And then you're like, "No, you don't. You don't got this."
No.
Of course, the spirits from Voldemort's wand start popping out. There's all the spirits of the people he has killed previously up until this point.
There's one thing that doesn't make sense. Like, why does Cedric come out of this?
Because he was the last person killed. Presumably
that
Wormtail
wand.
used his wand.
Oh, you think so?
I would assume so.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, 'cause he was like,
Wormtail's
"Wormtail,
wand
my
was probably
wand."
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wand. Give it to me.
Okay.
Of course, Harry is then confronted by his mother and father, who are like, "Harry, you've done a great, listen, son, bang up job up until this point.
Yeah.
Why don't you let us take care of this and you get the hell out of here? When we're going to take over for you. When we tell you, just get back to the port key and touch it and get back.
And eat your vegetables.
And you know,
And then we
yeah,
get a heart-wrenching scene where fucking Cedric's like, "Yo, can you take my body back,
yeah.
please? To my dad?"
To which I would have been
my
like
dad.
this. Listen, dude. Like, I'm up against a wall
If
here.
I
Cedric.
don't, I hope you understand.
We'll come back for it. I know where it is.
Like, I'm that same kid that, a couple movies ago, there was blood in the wall and everyone thought it was me. And
Yeah.
another time,
Like,
everyone
I
thought it was
heard you
me.
talking
Like,
some
if
shit,
I
dude.
come back
I
to
heard you
your-
talking some shit.
If I come back with your body,
He
like, it's
knows
not gonna be
Akio
that.
now. He was all fine. He jumped down there. It was like, Akio trophy.
Akio trophy. Of course, the parents are like, "Go, just go now." And Harry's like, "Cool, I'm gonna go." Akio, and it's cool. He smartly grabbed him in the body first, grabbed the trophy to him, and then boom, he's back. Bam, ba-da-da, ba-da-da, and everyone's like, "Harry, it's so great." And Harry looks up, just crying with blood on his face, and then someone screams because they realize Cedric's dead.
Isn't it Fleur that screams?
Probably.
Yeah.
Let's
So I
see.
guess she was fine. Didn't
Lord
get eaten.
Voldemort.
And Voldemort is back.
back.
That's it.
Movie
And then
ends.
Yeah.
Cedric's dad just loses
Give it
his
an
shit at
Oscar.
this point. It's
And
so
yeah,
sad.
Cedric's dad's losing his shit,
So
and they
sad.
cut to a crowd shot that clearly they could have picked a better crowd shot because, like, I think Hermione looks kind of scared, and Ron's like,
Ron doesn't know
that's
what's
just wrong.
happening.
That's
He
all
doesn't
they
know what
have.
it is.
Ron had no
They
answer.
hit next clip constantly.
That's it.
Yeah.
And every
Like, we
clip
got
was just
nothing
wrong.
else.
But the
With
dad's
his
reaction
goddamn gopher face.
still gets
So
me.
sad. That's my
every
boy. That's my
goddamn
boy.
shit.
My boy. Moody goes, "You don't have to be here, man. We gotta get you out of here." Takes him back up to the office, and then starts acting all sort of weird. And he's like, "What was it like? What was he like?" The Dark Lord starts squeezing his arm and shit. And he's like, "What was it like being his? Tell
he
me everything about
smell
the
the
grave."
blood?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like,
he
he
does.
squeezes it, and he's like, "Tell me what it was like standing by his grave." And he's like, "I didn't say anything about the grave, did I?" Oh shit! And then Harry's like, "I'm gonna fuck this guy up." Doesn't matter. Dumbledore comes in to the rescue.
Expelliarmus.
Expelliarmus. And then, of course, he was trying to drink his potion too, but there's nothing left, so he goes over to the other ones. There's nothing left. We know at this point that he's not who he seems to be. They expel him. They give him the Veritas what is it?
Veritaserum.
They're like, are you Alistair Moody? He's like, no. He's like, is Alistair Moody in the room? And he looks over at the chest, and I was like, oh fuck, that's intense. And they open it up, and I love that. I love the effect here because they do the thing, and it opens up, and they look down, and it's like 2 stories down. And he's like, sorry, dude. I've been here for like a long time. He has not fed me, but I'm magic.
I thought it was gonna be like a little chest opens up top and he's like a little tiny baby.
Well, baby. No, but he's kept him alive because he needs him for the.
He needs the hair and stuff. Yeah.
His delicious hair. And information.
And then they turn him back. He turns back into the none other than Barty Crouch Jr., who's been using the Polyjuice Potion. And then he's like, well, "Hey, Snape, I think we figured out who stole your shit." And Snape's like, "Yeah, no shit, dude. Okay, I'm not done.
Get it."
The Dark Lord is back. The next day at the Great Hall, Dumbledore gives a nice eulogy for Cedric. The students have a right to know exactly how Cedric died. He was murdered by Lord. He straight up was murdered by Lord Voldemort. The Ministry of Magic doesn't want me to tell you this, but I don't care. You deserve to know, because to not do so would be a disgrace to his memory. He tells everyone to remember the bonds of friendship they've forged this year. Remember that, and Cedric will not have died in vain. You remember that, and we'll celebrate a boy who was kind and honest, brave and true, right to the very end. And then Harry's like, I mean, I did all the work, but whatever, it's fine. Dumbledore comes to visit Harry in his dorm, and he apologizes for putting Harry in danger. Harry asks about the wand. He's like, at one point, my wand connected with Voldemort, and Dumbledore says, priori incantatem, which apparently is something that happens when 2 wands chosen of the same feather hit. It can have a side effect, which is that it'll expel one of the last spells or curses that the other wand did, which is apparently what happened here. It was just like a leftover of what happens. It's a side effect of what happens when 2 wands cross.
Barry, do they go over that later in one of the other books or movies?
Like what specifically?
The spitting of the stuff.
Yeah.
Spells.
No, they go over here.
Okay.
But
he sort of has one line about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
like
yeah,
that
in the
can
books.
And then this
in the movies.
And in the book here in this scene is where they confirm it's Fawkes the Phoenix who gave the cords to both Harry's wand and Voldemort's wand.
Yeah,
Yes.
so they're of the same
It's an
feather.
actual line from the book.
Priori incantatem. And then he just goes, he's like, hey man, I would like to tell you some nice things that are going to happen, but there's a lot of dark shit happening ahead of us. Dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon, we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy. But you have friends, you're not alone. Basically, like, stick with your friends, everything's going to be okay. It's the final day of school, and everyone is saying their goodbyes. Crumb tells Hermione to write. Fleur gives Ron a little kiss. Ron, Hermione, and Harry have one final moment together. Hermione asks everyone she's like, everyone's going to write me. She says, everything's going to change now, isn't it? And Harry's like, yep, it's all going to change because we've all had an awakening of sorts.
Yeah,
one
Cho
way or the
Chang's
other.
single again.
And then she, of course, makes them promise. Yeah, exactly, right? It's going to go great for him with her being like, they're just totally distraught that her boyfriend
2
died.
chapters of the next book that's just
Christ.
like, come on, get out of here.
Hermione, of course, makes them both promise to write during the summer, and Ron says, you know I won't. And then she looks
What
at
a
Harry,
piece
and
of shit. What
Harry
a
basically tongue-in-cheek is like, oh, I'm going to write every week. And then they all have a good laugh as they watch the students from the Durmstrang Institute and the Beauxbatons Institute or whatever fade away into the distance. That is the end of the movie.
That is the end of the movie.
It's good stuff, man.
Wow, good stuff. Solid,
Long
solid
one.
stuff.
Wow, nearly 2 hours.
Barrett, it's time for the Boss Baby Book Corner.
Boss baby, book corner. Boss baby.
He read the books.
Yeah, you
Nailed it
came in
this
with the
time.
right
I
one.
practiced
What's
it
up,
before.
everybody? Welcome to another episode of Boss Baby's Book Corner, a podcast within a podcast where I share the most important details from the Harry Potter books that were cut from the movie. My name is Barrett Courtney, and this week we were talking about Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which comes in at 734 pages, the biggest jump from one book to the other,
old book.
with this movie being 2 hours and 37 minutes, like Tim said earlier. So naturally, there are a lot of cuts. I'm going to try to get through some of these as fast as I can. Detail number 1, in the movie, there is no Winky the house elf who serves Barty Crouch Jr. and Sr., which cuts out the major storyline of Barty Crouch Jr. and how he got where he is. Barty was in Azkaban, but was snuck out by his father and dying mother. It was like her last dying wish to get him out of Azkaban. And Winky took care of Jr. and helped cover the whole thing up. Everyone believed Barty had died in Azkaban when it was his mother who was regularly taking Polyjuice Potion to avoid detection. Barty Crouch Jr. was under the Imperius Curse until one night, Voldemort and Wormtail, who had learned about Barty's escape, showed up at their house and put Barty Crouch Sr. under the Imperius Curse. Sr. missed several tournament events, but Harry would see his name on the Marauders map in the middle of the night, when in reality he was seeing Barty Crouch Jr. walking around as Moody. One night, Barty Crouch Sr. escaped Voldemort's Imperious Curse and showed up at Hogwarts in a crazed state. Harry goes to get Dumbledore, but when they return, Crouch is missing. Near the end of the book, it's revealed that Jr. killed his dad, transfigured him into a bone, and buried him in front of Hagrid's hut. This plot is threaded throughout the story and helps add a lot of the mystery element that is lacking, I would say lacking in this movie. Detail number 2. One of the biggest details I would say that's so big, and one of the biggest differences, it's so big that it's become a meme in the Harry Potter fan base, is in the book, after Harry's name gets pulled, Dumbledore calmly asks, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? And then the movie, he's like, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Anyway, detail number 3, Rita Skeeter gets banned from Hogwarts grounds eventually for invading the students' personal
for
lives.
being all sorts of touchy-feely.
But even
Rita Skeeter.
Even after she is banned, she is still somehow getting stories and quotes from students. Eventually, Hermione finds out that she is an unregistered animagus and comes to an understanding with Skeeter that Hermione won't share her secret as long as she doesn't write another story ever again. She's like a beetle, and she sneaks onto campus and shit.
She puts her in a small jar for like weeks.
Yeah,
and makes
really
the jar unbreakable, so she can't turn back into a human. And like at the end of the school year, is like, I'll let you out, but if you start writing shit, I'm gonna let everyone know you're animagus.
Wow.
Detail number 3, the maze, which is the third task of the tournament, is way fucking cooler in the book.
Yeah.
They put fucking Boggarts and stuff into it, where like Harry thinks they put Dementors. He's like, oh wait, no, you're a Boggart, and like figures things out. Blasted into Scroots, which are like these ugly looking fuckers that like just spit fire. At one point, he
potentially created the blast-ended Scroots.
And then at one point he runs into a Sphinx. And like he has to answer a riddle and shit. But like she says, like, if you don't answer it correctly, like I will fuck you up. And she's basically like, you can walk away, and like if I ask you this and you walk away, you're totally fine. But if you answer it incorrectly, like I will like fuck you up. So anyway, there's that. Detail number 4, since Karkaroff and Snape were both former Death Eaters, they saw the signs of the Dark Mark burning more and more throughout the year. The night Voldemort returned, Karkaroff fled, having betrayed so many Death Eaters in the past. So yeah, like he totally like fucks off, and at the end of the book, they're like, oh, what are we gonna do without a leader of the school? And like, Crumb's like, I don't care. Detail number 5, Barty Crouch Jr. is a living witness to Voldemort's return, and I'm not gonna get into like why this is important, because they kind of save themes and plot points here for the next movie. So I'm not gonna get too into the weeds. But in the book, Fudge brings the Minister of Magic, Fudge, brings in a Dementor into Hogwarts when he hears that there is a Death Eater in the castle. The Dementor immediately gives Crouch the kiss, so Fudge never hears Crouch's testimony under Veritaserum. And again, there's a lot of themes and plot points here that they save for the next movie. So all I'll say for this detail is an important chapter called "The Parting of the Ways" is skipped. And again, I just want to quote something here because it's one of my favorite quotes throughout the entire series. But I won't say who says it and who they say it to, because again, it's gonna future spoilers.
If I can guess, do I get a chocolate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maybe. If your determination to shut your eyes will carry you as far as this, we have reached a parting of the ways. You must act as you see fit, and I will act as I see fit.
You know who said that, right? To who?
I said it, yeah, of course.
And then detail number 7, Sirius Black returns to Hogwarts disguised in his dog form the night Voldemort returns. When Dumbledore finds out what happens, he's quick to make sure everyone on the same side knows each other and that they can work together. Dumbledore reveals Sirius to Mrs. Weasley and Snape and forces Snape and Sirius to recognize that they can't be enemies anymore. And then the final detail for this week is that there was prize money as well for winning the Triwizard Tournament, but feeling so guilty with the death of Cedric because Harry was the one suggesting, like, we'll pull it together. Harry didn't want the winnings. He tried to give it to Cedric's parents, but they refused. He ends up giving it to the Weasley twins, who have been trying to invest in creating joke products as they dream to make their very own joke shop one day, like Zonko's. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes this week's episode of Boss Baby's Book Corner. Again, we're going to get into, like, really long books and stuff, so naturally I'm not going to be able to get to everything. So leave your favorite details that I've missed in the comments below. And while you're at it, why don't you give this video a like, share with your friends who love Harry Potter, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I'll see you next week for another episode of Book Corner. But until then, Mos Morta.
Thank you, Barrett. That was great.
Yeah.
And also, I need somebody to go back maybe like 2 minutes to when Barrett was talking and to take a screen grab of him, because the way he was cut off was cutting his nose off, and he looked like the Dark Lord.
Look like
himself.
Voldy.
Yeah.
Baby V and the
You
Funky
loved
Bunch.
it, dude. You were having a great time.
I was
there.
trying to I wanted to make sure you guys do, but I didn't want to call it out.
We all saw it.
The other question I had was Barrett or Kevin. He looks like that only now because he came back, right?
No, he had started transforming throughout
Yeah.
because he's done a bunch of dark magic.
Okay, so
to,
so by the
make
time
changes
he
to
went to
himself.
kill Harry, he kind of looked like that.
Yeah, well,
back
we're
in
not
13
entirely
years
sure,
ago.
but like, there were certain like he had red eyes and shit.
Okay, that's
Dad
cool.
had red eyes.
Oh, you made it.
It's time for the Golden Snitches Get Stitches, the Cool Greg effect. Cool Greg, what you got for me?
Bruh, y'all motherfuckers thought this was a game? He's back and he's killing kids.
Yeah,
I've
dude.
been told you about this shit. It's begun.
You fucking idiot.
begun.
begun.
Been telling you, dude.
Yo, this one was tight as fuck, man. I'm all in. I'm all in. This was the first movie that it ended. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to wait a week. Like, I need to know what happens,
This
man.
gets better from here on out.
All right, the little haiku in review time.
7 syllables in the middle. You'll need 5 for the first and last line. If you're not poetic, no need to fret it. Haikus don't need to rhyme. Haiku in review. Haiku in. Tim, you're not singing along, man. You
Everybody
do it
now
every
stop.
time usually.
Matt Rohrbeck writes
That
in,
was really
as you can,
impressive.
to patreon.com/kindoffunny. We're 2 hours into this.
I'm sorry.
Woo! Hey, it's not your fault. It was a long movie. Matt Rohrbeck says, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Let's go. Voldemort is back. Victor Crumb is a street shark. Batman at Hogwarts. Batman. I don't get it.
Because
Robert Pattinson.
Oh, very good.
Our
Very,
Pats.
very good.
Chadwick says, Crumb from the World Cup. Puts names in a flaming cup. Lost try wizard cup. Lot of cups.
a lot of cups.
Too many cups.
Too
How
many
many?
cups.
How many? But how many girls?
Stop it. Stop it.
Fighting Wombat says, Team Edward, baby. Just ask Hermione to dance. Voldemort is back. Matt Edwards says, Ron's now stuck thinking that Hermione and Crumb played Hide the Firebolt.
Oh, gross.
They
Hide the
probably
Quidditch
did. They
cup.
probably did.
I'm the best seeker in the world. You
Uh,
got a nice golden snitch.
Too
all
far.
right. FNH Paul says, time for the goblet. Ron hating on everyone. Hufflepuff stole one. Yep. That was Haiku in Review for this
Hufflepuff's
week.
lost, right?
And I know we're running really long, so let me just do this really quickly. Okay, I'll get it over with.
ahead.
That cup was looking fresh. The style was hotter. We're gonna rank the hair of Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
This is the worst hair he's had.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Part
bad.
3, Azkaban, easily number 1. He's had the best. That was the best cut that we had on Harry Potter. I would rank it so far 3, 2, 1, 4.
Absolutely.
3, 2, 1, 4.
His hair was hideous in this.
Yeah.
It's like it looks like they styled it poorly on purpose, but I'm like, what's the
Dude,
point of
no,
this?
no, no,
hair?
but
when
like,
it gets to
most
that
of the-
length, it's a little bit unruly.
No,
and
but
hard to deal with.
most of the time it looks like whatever. It was just long. The scene at the very, very end where, I can't even think of where they were.
that where they were. He was over the dead body, right?
It was just, no, not even the dead body. It's like it was already light outside. I think like Dumbledore was already talking. It was like the funeral scene. There were like his hair was just like
It looked like they slapped a wig
It was
on
a
him.
lot.
Yeah,
Like a bad
I
wig.
kind of got that
Yeah.
vibe too, but
I
I
said
didn't.
that. I
I didn't
said
get the
that.
wig vibe throughout the whole movie.
No,
except
no, it
Is
was
it a
just that
wig?
one scene.
I don't know.
No.
Wigging out. Is it a wig? I don't know. We're hitting all of them. Scarpino.
I don't know. I think it's normal. I think it's natural because I think the director told them all just to grow their hair out. I think they all had just cool, unruly like
Got it,
70s
got
style.
it.
Because even though it's what Ron wears is kind of that era.
That, like, shirt in the beginning?
That shirt and
Yeah.
like a lot of
I
the
like that
wardrobe
shirt a
is
lot.
kind of a little bit more of a throwback retro. So I think that was some of the production design behind it.
Yeah.
Now the other question, Andy, is how bad was Voldemort in this?
Dun, 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 dun.
Ragu.
Dun, 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 dun.
Finally, Bagu.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys. I am your host. I'm a rad guy talking bad guy with my co-host Nick Scarpino.
The other
How's it
rad
going,
guy,
man?
the only other rad guy.
How's it going, dude?
Bad guys and rad guys.
So, yeah, we're mainly ranking the. Voldemort is a huge role in this one now.
But it's
He's
Barty Crouch
finally
Jr.,
hero,
right?
but Barty Crouch Jr. and then maybe even
Moody.
like the evil Mad Eye
Evil
Moody,
Moody.
even though it wasn't really him.
Well, that was
Fake
just Barty
Moody.
Crouch
Moody
Jr.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
We'll
know
say
what I'm saying,
BCJ.
I don't. I was confused.
MEM and Baby V and the Funky Bunch. We'll just say Baby V and the
Just
Funky
Baby
Bunch.
V.
Kevin. Baby
Funky
V and the
Bunch,
Funky
dude.
Bunch, fantastic.
Baby V and the Funky Bunch.
What are we feeling?
I'm feeling number one.
Number one?
Yeah,
Woo,
absolutely.
doctor.
I kind of agree because I do
'Cause
like
they-
all the twists and turns that
we've got-
sort of took you through.
Absolutely. We've got a lot of espionage happening. We've got them setting the stage, scheming in the back, and then we've got when Voldemort comes back, boy, he does not disappoint. Just immediately orders the killing of an innocent teen. who was arguably the best looking one at Hogwarts, just takes that from all the girls right there, and then just wants to fuck with Harry, who's a kid. This is terrifying.
Perfect. Oh my god, easily number one.
Yeah, so Baby V and Funky Bunch is number 1. Number 2 is Sirius Demo Tears. Number 3 is Tom Elvis, Judas Orvoldi. Number 4, Hat Guy and Voldemort.
Wow.
Great.
There you go. Now it's time to rank the Harry Potter universe. Currently, the rankings are as follows. Number 1, Prisoner of Azkaban. Number 2, Sorcerer's Stone. Number 3, Chamber of Secrets. Where will this one go? Before we get to it, Cool Greg, can you get on Shop Mic real quick? Yeah. I forgot to ask you for your vote last week.
Yeah.
What would you say? Where would you put Prisoner of Azkaban?
Number 1.
Okay, good, cool. So we made the right calls here. I was worried. But now it's time to rank this one. Anybody want to put out an argument?
I'll put this. I'll say number 1, Goblet of Fire.
Hands down.
I forgot
Number
how
one.
well paced and how well structured this movie is. And like the one I would have put Prisoner above it because Prisoner is my favorite book. Were it not for the fact that we still get to the end of Prisoner and Dumbledore has to have the scene where he has to explain everything and like explain all the plot holes. And this is pretty tight. Some would say watertight from start to finish.
I mean, is it? There were a lot of moments where Tim is like, what did that mean? Why didn't they explain that? And I had
but
those moments
a lot
too.
of people think Tim's really stupid.
No. I do think there's a lot
the
of
Ron Weasley of our
I do think there's a lot of things that they
Joking,
just
Tim.
expect
You're the
you to
Hermione.
know.
Just kidding.
You're
You're
the
Hermione. You're Hermione.
You're
We love you.
Andy's clearly the Ron.
I do think that I like Prisoner of Azkaban more than this movie. As we were going through the review, I was like, you know what? I actually do like this movie more than Chamber of Secrets. I don't know if I like it more than Sorcerer's Stone. You know, I'll put it above Sorcerer's Stone. This goes number 2 for me.
You're crazy. This is number 1.
So we start at number 2, huh?
I don't think it's clear number
I think
1.
it's a clear. I think
that
it's a clear number 1.
Twice as good as Prisoner of Azkaban.
Sounds like a fucking.
Honestly,
cool
I'm
name.
saying like this reminds me a lot of the Mission Impossible movies,
Yeah.
where it's just like cool to
Shit
set up,
is real
introducing
now,
the world, we're getting
you know?
to stuff, and like Mission Impossible 3, it's like it was good, just like Prisoner. But then we get to Ghost Nation. Wait, what
Ghost
is
Protocol.
it? Ghost Protocol.
Ghost
Like,
Protocol.
oh shit! Now it's actually a great movie, and that's what this was.
I recall you not even liking that movie that much.
And hey,
so-
I'm hoping it gets better.
Wow.
I'm hoping it gets better.
Man, the standards on this guy.
It's
Hey,
so high.
dude.
It's so high.
Rogue
Don't
Nation,
make this about
impossibly
your
high.
fucking
I'm hoping
French
that we get
fries,
some good
alright?
Rogue Nation action in the Harry Potter universe. But yeah, I say it's number 1, easy. Cool, Greg, where you at?
Number 1.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's vote then. Who thinks it's better than Sorcerer's Stone? Raise your hand. We all raise our hands. Who thinks it's better than Prisoner of Azkaban? Raise your hand.
Fucking
Everyone
coward.
except for Andy Cortez raises his hand. Hey, man, character development works both ways. You know?
Yeah. It sure does.
Fucking
So
told you,
the
Barry. I told
ranking
you.
of the Harry Potter universe right now is number 1, Goblet of Fire. Number 2, Prisoner of Azkaban. Number 3, Sorcerer's Stone. Number 4, Chamber of Secrets. Fantastic for everybody. Something I forgot to do last week. I want to do a update on the points that are given out in the show. Ravenclaw is currently standing at 30 because 15 were taken away. Kevin
Unfortunate.
Dursley is at -5.
Gryffindor.
and
I'm
then-
calling it Gryffindor.
Tim's team, whatever it is,
Slytherin.
Slytherin's in
Yeah.
parentheses, is at 15. So
Yeah,
A lot of,
let's
lot of
go.
negative 15s here.
yeah, we're. Oh yeah, no, I'm not at 15. I'm at -15.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck, Tim, what
He
did
took
you
a
do?
lot away
I
from
don't
you.
know. Probably said some dumb shit. Until next time.
Wingardium Adiosa.